talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With the 1 o'clock headlines, I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. Arsenal fans, World Cup winner Emmanuel Petit has this message for you.
I want you to support the team until the end. Stop. Yeah, I want you to believe that they are able, they have the strength, the quality to win the title. I'm so tired of it.
And it's just reminding everyone, despite the loss to Manchester United, that Arsenal have more points from their last 5 than Villa or City. Arsenal go to Leeds on Saturday. We're told they have a striker who should be up to the World Cup this summer. Here's Jermaine Beckford on Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Incredible in front of goal, what he offers. I know, Gab, you're talking about Ollie Watkins, and I'm a huge admirer of his as well. I don't see why they both shouldn't be on the plane.
Everton v Leeds is live on talkSPORT tonight from 7. Meanwhile, Hill Dickinson's getting its first senior men's international. Scotland will play the Ivory Coast in a friendly there on the 31st of March. Now, with a week until deadline day, Bournemouth have agreed a loan deal with Lazio for 24-year-old Greece goalkeeper Christos Mandas. And here's our chief football correspondent Alex Crook with an update on Andy Robertson to Spurs.
It's not definitely off, and obviously there's still a week to go in the window, but at the moment it looks like Robertson will stay and see out his contract. If the move does happen to Spurs, I'm told the fee would be around about £5 million, inclusive of add-ons.
Liverpool say they lack alternatives to let Robbo leave this month, and a coroner's ruled that heading footballs likely played a part in the death of Gordon McQueen. The former Scotland defender died in 2023, having suffered with vascular dementia and CTE. All the latest is on talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Former Conservative Home Secretary Suella Braverman has defected to Reform and stormed Chandra's, hitting large parts of the UK tomorrow, with amber danger to life warnings coming in later on today. Get more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, where we've got more premium tyres than the number of times you'll hear, "Ooh, it's a bit nippy" this winter. Book today at quickfit.com.
Well, throughout today, largely cloudy with outbreaks of rain, heavier in the south as that storm rolls in, with flooding possible.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT, where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
I'd love to, and coming up over the next 3 hours, Danny Kelly joins us to go through game by game through the Premier League weekend. We'll preview Everton versus Leeds with comedian Sam Avery, and how the voice of Wrexham, Mark Griffiths, went viral by offering his kid to one of the team's midfielders.
Yeah.
Good story.
We'll also have more of Andy's nonsense by numbers, and Sunderland supporting boxer Kieran McDonald looks into his first pro fight and tells us about his link to our very own Mickey Gray.
There's all this, plus Andy Brass will bring us the big stories from around Europe, and we'll discover if a former Brazil, Milan and Chelsea frontman is really about to buy Colchester United.
Yeah, more on that story. We'll down along to Colchester and find out more. But David O'Leary's going to join us for a chat as well very shortly on Arsenal and Villa after the weekend's football. But it is 4 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. And yeah, of course, we'll go through all the games with Danny. But I was interested in this piece about Oliver Glasner. There was a bit of an interview with him. And he did what we used to call on this show a Lennox Lewis.
The third person.
He talk about himself in the third person. Lennox would always say, well, Lennox Lewis feels this or that and the other, you know. You think, what a fine.
Isn't that you?
No, that's you, exactly. Anyway, he says he was asked about his sort of outburst that he did last week. He says, I don't regret it. Do I think it was the best way? No, I don't think so. But that's Oliver Glasner. I don't say I'm perfect.
Is that a kind of catchphrase in his new American sitcom? That's Oliver Glasner.
Can you actually ever imagine? I don't think I've ever done that, talked about myself like that. Well, that's what Andy Jacobs.
Andy Jacobs has never done that.
Yeah, Andy Jacobs has never done that.
You did once say to some bloke at Lords, though, do you know who I am?
But that was different.
Well, I mean, it's of that school, isn't it,
of
really?
that school.
I'm not sure I'm letting you completely get away with it.
No, not completely. Yeah. I love about these two nominative, not determinism, but quite interesting. The Sun's political reporter is called Martina Bett. I place all my wagers with her.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, yeah.
There's a new book by Simon Squibb. Don't know what happens when he goes swimming or gets caught in the rain.
You're collecting these, are you?
I am.
I had no idea.
I am.
So we are going to get stuck into the football very shortly with Danny Kelly. It was a very fine game yesterday afternoon, very exciting.
Very
match.
good game, good game. And United have got such an advantage over everybody else. They're playing once a week. They can train, they can rest, they can play the same players.
Yeah.
They didn't go to Inter Milan midweek, and
but
it makes a
they
big
were doing
difference.
that before, and they were stinking the place out under another manager.
Yeah, but that's true. But
it just shows you, doesn't it, the difference that
that's right.
A new set of eyes working with the same set of players and the kind of response.
Well, we've seen it.
I'm not that I'm trying to send a message to anybody.
Well, we've seen it at Rangers and we've seen it in Celtic.
Yeah, look, it doesn't always work. But and it's still very early days. But it seems to have made. I mean, some players like Dorgu look completely different I think he was improving, wasn't he? But last couple of weeks,
it's just the system and the way they play and the freedom they play, and they've got good players. They've always had good players.
No, that's true.
And they're nailed on to finish in the top four, I think.
So, Danny will be with us a little bit later on to go through that. Anything else you noticed? You didn't go to Brentford then, no?
I didn't really, no.
You watched the Chelsea game?
Chelsea, yeah. It was... just didn't fancy it. I don't know why. I've been a bit funny with football at the moment. I'm not totally enjoying. There were some good games on the weekend, which was good. But I've just had, you go through these things, don't you, with sport and football and things, where you're not quite as into it as you were, So,
why is that?
I don't know.
What has caused this malaise?
Just a lot of...
You could understand if I was saying it, but probably less so with you saying it.
A lot of terrible games, I suppose. A lot of, negative and sort of, some of modern football does drive me mad. This constant thing of retaining the ball. You think, play it forward. I hate it when you see blokes make a run and then the player doesn't play it. He doesn't try the forward pass.
Yeah.
He then passes it sideways and then holds his hand up to the bloke.
One of the other things is, and it popped up a few times as sort of, I don't know if it's a trend or what, but I mean, it was noticeable with Wirtz, wasn't it? One or two others. And our complete team, who I guess...
Shot shy Liverpool.
Yeah. I mean, Spurs are as well. I mean, Villa really are the team that aren't. Look how successful it's been for them. But quite a lot of the time now, it's not about don't shoot from distance because you're giving the ball up, you're giving the ball away. I mean, I don't know, it just seems to be sort of tactical analysis for the sake of it, really, a lot of the time. I mean, not that people still shoot from distance, but I think we're seeing less of it, aren't we?
Which is a shame, really. It's a pity. Did you see this story? This was an amazing story in Greece where a man had pretended, he recently died, and it turned out that for about some years he'd been living as Remy Moses, the former United player. And it's only when they announced, Remy Moses sort of said, well, hang on a minute, I'm not even dead. I'm Remy Moses, I'm living in Manchester.
Yeah.
But this bloke had fooled everybody living in Greece. Amazing, isn't it, how people will do that.
Was he any good at football, this other fella?
I think he did coach the local team.
Really?
Yeah. So...
About a few of them were thinking, blimey, he played for Man United, this lad, did he? I can't believe it.
He was a lifelong United supporter who at some point in his later years had taken his fandom of Moses a step further. He convinced not just his widow, Jutta, a German social worker, and his third wife that he was Moses, but all their friends and neighbours too. Yeah. So audacious was Sims at playing his part, he even secured a job at the Greek football club, Doxa, whatever they called it.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever tried to pass
with those Greek
please. Have you ever tried to pass yourself off as someone famous?
Only.
Have you ever said, well, actually, I am?
I did.
I am that person. And somebody went
Pete
for it.
Rozell's son. Do you remember I went to that NFL party on the eve of the Super Bowl?
That is obscure. First, tell us, for the people that don't know, who's Pete Rozell?
Pete Rozell was the chairman, not the chairman, the commissioner of the NFL.
Of the NFL. And you claimed...
I was out there for the Super Bowl. I
Yeah.
went to an amazing party the night before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And everybody had to have a badge on who they were.
Yeah.
So I put mine on. I said Pete Rozell Jr. Like I was his son. I don't know why I did it. I got a lot of people asking me, well, how come you've got an English accent?
Exactly.
So I was educated at Sea in England.
I was educated in England.
You did ask me if I've ever pretended to be
5 minutes change here, you would have wondered whether you'd been educated at all.
Well, that's very true.
So you have a pop at this Greek lad, or claiming to be Remy Moses.
Well, I didn't do it for years and try and get a job as an NFL coach.
Okay. How long? Who finally caught you? Did Pete come in?
I don't think no one.
Pete never turned up.
No, he never turned up. Nobody. I didn't get caught out. It only lasted a night. I didn't carry on for the next 6
years or something. Claiming to be Pete Rozell.
I've only just let it go.
I mean, did the timeline work? I mean, I don't want to take
People
much
can't
deeper
believe
dive
Pete
into
Rozell's
this.
son's been on talkSPORT for 25 years. I met that bloke at a party.
Yeah, maybe you're getting invited to the next Super Bowl now.
That's unlikely.
Excuse me.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks. If you've ever claimed to have been, if you've ever said, in the moment, Andy does this all the time. Andy once claimed to be a doctor going into a wedding, only for the bride to faint, and they all turned around to him and said, well, I'm not a medical doctor.
That was bad, yeah.
So he's got a bit of previous for this. So if you have tried to pass yourself off as someone famous...
Probably because I'm sort of a bit nobody, so if I can give myself a bit of a boost by being somebody else, you know.
It's hard on yourself.
I know.
Although
I think sure that's what's behind it.
Is that what it is? You wanted to be something.
Well, you know.
Well, there you are. You're on national... Somehow. You've parlayed a career on national radio for a quarter of a century.
I don't know how.
I don't know how you got away with it. It was only the Pete Rozell connection that got you in, wasn't it?
True.
Telling the people you were his son. They thought they might get the rights to the NFL those early days of talkSPORT.
Exactly.
So if you've ever claimed, you've said, oh, yeah, I am actually Timothy Dalton. And how did that go down, and how did you get found out? I mean, not not with credit cards and so we don't want to go down that route, please. talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J. Pato shouldn't be allowed to buy Colchester United unless he plays for a season, says JH. Well, he's
only 36.
He's only 36. So there's not been many player owners, have there?
No. Oh, no, I don't think so. I can't think of men that would actually play. No, absolutely not. And he only played twice for Chelsea. I had to look it up. I knew he was there for some period, but he only ever made 2 appearances.
How long was he actually at the club, you know?
I don't know, about a year.
Well, he's part of a consortium that may be looking to buy Colchester United, so we'll head down there and find out a bit more about that. We'll look at some transfer stories of the day. Danny Kelly will be with us. You're going to tell us about passing yourself off as a famous person and whether that worked and for how long and in what circumstances. None too sinister, please. What else we got for you? Andy Brassell's going to guide us. Some interesting stories from around Europe this weekend. We haven't spent quite a lot of last week talking up the mighty Bayern Munich and their incredible record. They managed to lose, didn't they?
Oh,
did you see that?
No, I didn't see that, right.
Kieran McDonald will join us. He is being trained. He had a great amateur career, but he's just turned pro. He's got his first pro fight coming up. He's a big Sunderland fan from that part of the world. Although he's moved down to Manchester to train with Anthony Crolla. And Ant's going to join us for a chat as well. We'll be in a good mood after Manchester United's win. And Kieran has an interesting link to our own Mickey Gray, the former Sunderland defender, and our Manchester correspondent. So they'll all be joining us for a bit of a chat later on. And Mark Griffiths, Wrexham fans will be fully aware of this, although he has gone viral. Mark, he's been the voice of Wrexham commentary since the 80s, thick and thin, and he must be loving life now. But he went a bit nuts with the last-minute winner against QPR the other day.
That was a good result. Not an easy place to go. And now they're in the playoff spots.
I know.
Incredible.
Up to 6th, aren't they? Sam Avery joins us. We've got commentary for you tonight. One game remaining, Everton versus Leeds. And Sam's big Evertonian will be chatting to him. A bit of a state of play with Everton and looking at tonight's match. As we said, that's all live from 7 o'clock. But before that, David O'Leary joins us. Former Arsenal skipper, Villa manager. And Villa still, I mean, whatever Unai Emery keeps saying, they're still very much in the frame, aren't they? They're right up there.
They're 4 points behind Arsenal. Of course
they could sneak up on the rails. They keep putting results together.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have a chat with David, and then Danny Kelly joins us, and we'll go game by game through the Premier League weekend. To get in touch this afternoon, 03717 22 3344, talksport.com. Text 81089, tweet TS H&J. Get in touch with us. We're here as always with our very good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
just turn into the game like this and then things come up. I think it's obviously a combination of every frustration that we had all this season.
And it has been coming. It's Arsenal 1, Manchester United 0. Not brilliant defending at all.
A game that had a lot of moments, especially in the first 30 minutes.
What a gift this is for Brian and Mbumo.
Patrick Dorgu has just scored a stunner. Oh my word, what a goal!
It's a goal kick, one long ball, one pass, pass and another incredible magic moment from Cunha.
It's another sensational goal from Mateus Cunha from 25 yards out.
Let's enjoy the Manchester United moments.
It was a
brilliant goal. It's a great moment.
That's why we're in it, that's why we love it, sometimes you got to dig deep and then the moments and the quality, and that's what the boys can do. Today was a special feeling, I have to say.
For the Red Devils, their first Premier League win at the Emirates since Jose Mourinho was in charge. It's Arsenal's first home Premier League defeat of the season.
More than ever, they need to feel that we are very close to them and that we believe in them and what we are doing more than ever.
Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3.
Yeah, unbiased glee there from Alex Crook.
Yeah.
Good God. It's amazing, wasn't it?
Never heard him so excited.
Oh, ridiculous.
Arsenal, according to Opta, are still 81.74% favourites to win the league, but it certainly has mixed things up a bit. I mean, I think it was pretty edgy at the Etihad the other day. It's getting to that stage, isn't it, really?
Well, none of them can afford to slip up. And when you're chasing, it's more relaxing than when you're being chased.
Absolutely. Now, let's get the thoughts of a former Arsenal skipper. And we'll talk a bit of Villa later on, as he was the manager there. David O'Leary joins us. How are you, David?
Hi, good afternoon, both of you.
Hi.
So, David, are you panicking yet? As a few of the Arsenal fans are. Are you panicking yet, or are you still very chilled about it all?
Well, I'm not chilled or not panicking either. in between, I would say. It's still 4 points. Started the game well yesterday. Deserved to go up. Gifted them a goal, and then in the second half, really, we didn't create much. Really, we relied on a set play to get us back in the game, and they scored two magic goals in the second half. Probably the goal from Doku Mikel would be disappointed in the initial where he got to hit the shot. I think he probably feared that could have been cut out, but to beat David Raya, you needed two special goals, particularly, and those two last goals, the second and the third, were magic goals.
It's true. It's difficult to know with Arsenal. I mean, they're not creating a lot. This over-reliance on set plays. What can he do to change that?
Well, I think the amount of players, that individual players there, I think they've got to step up. And I've noticed the last few games, it's only my opinion, that they become cautious, maybe a fear of we don't want to lose, instead of taking the shackles off. Not that the coaches put the shackles on them. Maybe they've got into themselves a little bit. And those players, the inventive players, they've got to step up and create a bit of magic, really. And as you quite rightly say, we're becoming too much dependent on set players. And when you look at our record from goals from on the field play, they're very poor compared for a team that's top of the league.
So is it creating chances, or is it not finishing the chances they're creating? They're not creating enough chances and not finishing. A bit of both, is it?
I think so, and I think we could maybe get the ball into the box a bit more instead of at times being very slow in our build-up play. I think at times the ball could go in the box more, and more players could in the box to get on the end of those things. Definitely.
This is the thing where not a lot of these players have been in this situation going for a title, and a fair few more of the City players have. I mean, how important do you think it's going to be?
I remember for myself, a title, and Arsenal hadn't won it for a long time, and it got very edgy at the end, and we nearly threw it away, and we had to go to Liverpool and win by 2 clear goals. That we really nearly messed it up, and it took the wonder performance to get that result. But I think these players, the manager will give them the right things, say the right things, create the right atmosphere for them. But at the end of the day, it comes down to that mentality on the pitch that if you want to go and win this league, they're in a great position, and they're still 4 points ahead. You're going to get bumps in the road going along if you want to win the league in 38 games, and it's about that mentality to be able to bounce back.
I mean, the last two away performances, leaving Forest aside, Inter and Chelsea, they played really well, and they scored 3 goals in both games. So you wonder if it's the home crowd getting a bit edgy, not helping them.
Yeah, I mean, that can transfer, can't it? A bit of edginess in the crowd to the players?
Yes, they can, and they haven't been in this situation before. If they're expected to win the league now, it's kind of a hearing, it's theirs to lose. As I say, I still think they're in a great position. I think the manager will have them believing that. But at the end of the day, when you go across those lines, it's about taking that on the pitch, they're good enough to do it. There's a great squad, but some of them have got to start believing more in themselves. And like what Cunha has done, in that there's individuals there who can create individual magic, and I think a bit more of that is probably needed, really, instead of relying so much on these set plays, which have been winning a lot of games.
A little bit quality in front of the goal would be timely, and it looks like Kai Havertz is edging his way back. He played against Pompey in the Cup, and then I thought he was on the bench the other day, was he? So, he could be like a new player for them, really. He could be so important because he is tried and tested, isn't he?
It is, but I think there's, plenty more players there than him that are playing now that need to step up and maybe contribute more goals-wise. And maybe, the club itself has got into a habit of, well, we keep a clean sheet, we'll get a set play and we'll score from it. And in general, that's what they've been doing in ways. And lots of teams, when Arsenal get a corner, I was looking at Man United yesterday, and when that goal came from the corner, you could see everybody around, come on, let's not give this away. Everybody's anxious in the box and people get tense. The goalkeeper's trying to sort the clearance out, and there's a lot of people around them, and it gets very, very tense indeed. And Arsenal, I hope they keep getting set plays and keep scoring them, because the contribution from off the field, on the field play hasn't been great. And I think if we look up the stats, I think we're quite low down for a team that's top of the league.
Yeah. I mentioned Michael Carrick and his coaching team. It's only a couple of games, but they've looked much improved. The players seem to be enjoying themselves, playing with a lot of freedom. Sometimes he drives fans mad, though, Dave. You think, where were these players before?
It amazed me. I watched the City game, and it was United of old. And then I thought, we're meeting Manchester United at the wrong time here, because this is going to be a different Man United. The players played in a system they seem to love. I looked at Harry Maguire, player they've been trying to replace for years. He was so solid. I was delighted with his attitude, and he was made for that occasion. You look at Kaibi Manu in midfield, I think he was never getting a look in, and how well he played yesterday. I couldn't understand why he was never even in the squad at times in that way. But they looked a team that loved the way they played, and they've got enough quality players there that the performance that they've been given has been shocking. But that's more like the Man United side with the team they have, with the players they have.
Let's have a quick word on Villa as well, David, club you managed. They're level on points now with City. We keep talking about this two-horse race, and we know Unai Emery's playing it down, but you really can't rule them out, can you?
No, you can't, and Unai has done an absolutely brilliant job. I didn't see the game yesterday, but to go to Newcastle and win by 2 clear goals, you need to be playing well. And they have with the budget they've had, what they've been able to spend, the squad they have, they've done an absolutely fantastic job after a poor start as well. But Unai didn't panic, got the team settled, knows his way he wants to play, demands often. Very technical coach, goes into a lot before the game preparation-wise, and it's really paying off for Aston Villa. They have had a fantastic season so far.
I mean, they got the result against Newcastle, but the story this morning is that John McGinn could be out for a couple of months, and that is a big blow for them. He's a key player, isn't he?
Definitely, I like John. And any time you see him, he's that battling midfield player from Scotland and great leader. And the squad they have is not the biggest, so they can't afford to lose players, and particularly a player like John's quality.
David O'Leary, derby for Arsenal at the weekend. It's Leeds, isn't it? They go up the Leeds, which is quite a difficult fixture. I mean, it always depends on what happens tonight, but it's always a great atmosphere, and Leeds have been decent at home, so that's not an easy game for Arsenal.
No, and, fantastic crowd, fantastic atmosphere. Arsenal know what they'll be facing up there. It's particularly probably the first 20 minutes. Even when I went up there as a player, you knew what you were going to get straight away, and it'll be an absolutely fantastic atmosphere. Great test for them. And these are the things that, the run in now, I think particularly the last 10 games, no matter who you play, are always difficult. Everybody's predicting, that's got to be an okay game. That okay game becomes the really hard game, and that night. And all the games now, particularly the way the league is tightened up, it's going to be pressure not to drop points and particularly try and win the matches.
Good stuff, David. Good to talk to you. All the best. Thanks a lot.
Take care of you too. Stay safe.
Thanks.
David O'Leary there, the former Arsenal skipper, on yesterday's game. We'll talk a bit more about the Manchester United angle as we focus on Arsenal, and Danny Kelly joins us, though I'm sure he'll have his thoughts on the Gunners as well. And we're going to go game by game through the Premier League weekend with Danny Kelly in a few moments' time.
Is this an Arsenal wobble or not? Defeat at home to Man United cuts the lead in the league to 4, but Manu Petit's reminding everyone the Gunners still have more points from their last 5 games than either City or Villa.
They changed. They are not the same. They're leading the Champions League spot. They're leading the Premier League. They are the best team at home, the second best team away from home. So come on, guys.
David Seaman, though, admits the home defeat to Man United does add a bit of pressure.
You know, because of the history of the last 3 seasons as well. You know, like you said, we've only taken, 2 points from 3 from the last 3 games.
Arsenal are away to Leeds on Saturday. Leeds are in action tonight. They go to Everton live on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Meanwhile, Hill Dickinson has been given its first senior men's international. Scotland will play the Ivory Coast in a friendly there on March 31st. What news of the Scotland captain's potential move to Spurs, Alex Crook?
It's not definitely off, and obviously there's still a week to go in the window, but at the moment it looks like Robertson will stay and see out his contract. If the move does happen to Spurs, I'm told the fee would be around about £5 million, inclusive of add-ons.
And organisers at the Australian Open Tennis have moved things around again for the heat. Temperatures in Melbourne could reach 46 degrees tomorrow. Yannick Sinner and Iga Swiatek are into the quarters.
Comes back to Matheus Fernandes, who unleashes a rocket. West Ham United given themselves a real chance, a fighting chance of staying in the Premier League.
Manchester City 2, Wolves 0. It came from that left foot of Antoine Semenyo.
And this could just be the winner in stoppage time. Fulham 2, Brighton 1. Who else but Harry Wilson?
Talk about Wilson time. There can't be anyone hotter in the Premier League than him.
Burnley 2, Spurs 2. Romero header. Wow, what a header that is.
Bournemouth with a chance at the end, and he scored! Oh my word! Bournemouth 3. Liverpool 2.
Newcastle 0, Villa 2. Villa's long wait for a win at St James's Park, surely over now.
It's Fernandes right-footed into the bottom right-hand corner, and Chelsea take full control of this London derby.
Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 2, and it's Taiwo Awoniyi.
Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3. It's another sensational goal from Matheus Cunha. Their first Premier League win at the Emirates since Jose Mourinho was in charge.
Yeah, a very eventful week as always in the Premier League. Just before we get into it with Danny Kelly, and he did tell us earlier on that he went to a Super Bowl party many years ago, claiming to be Pete Rozelle Jr., the son of Pete Rozelle, who I'm sure you're aware was the then commissioner of the NFL. I think you'd like this one, Andy. My mate and his wife went to... they turned up late to a Tom Jones concert at Wembley. Her husband was desperate to find somewhere to park, and she said, leave this to me. Put her head out the window and said, excuse me, I'm Engelbert Humperdinck's daughter, and I'm a guest of Tom. And I went, oh, OK, fine. Park right outside the door.
Beautiful.
Straight in. There we are. You got a bit of chutzpah, I take it.
That's it.
That was from John. Thank you, John. Keep them coming, passing yourself off as a star and getting away, or maybe not getting away with it. Talksport.com, text 1889, tweet TSH and J. Good afternoon, Danny.
I mean, we're a long way from the time when you could have a nickname as Engelbert Humperdinck did of the Hump.
Yes.
Still get away with it.
No, you can't be called that now, really.
No. You go to jail now, Paul.
Yeah, you probably would, yeah. World's gone mad. Thank you, caller. That's right. So we did talk to David O'Leary just now. We had an Arsenal focus on that. So we touched on Manchester United, but let's sing the praises of Manchester United maybe as we look back on Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3. And in a short space of time, and look, in his early days, we are seeing the green shoots, aren't we? If not more than that.
Oh, look. I mean, I'm not a Manchester United fan, but I'd give him the job tomorrow, Michael Carrick. I know that's nuts, but all he's done, it seems to me, is to inject the recollection to people of what it means to play for Manchester United and what they're supposed to be doing out there on the pitch, and then to relieve the players of the burden of a lot of theoretical nonsense about how the game should be played. He has returned players to their proper position. He has allowed Casemiro to continue playing, but given him some young legs in Mainu next to him so that he can do what he does so well. And United don't play 60 and 70 and 80 million pounds for these forward players because they're duds. Given the opportunity to show what they can do, as saw them Bueno and Cunha, they went out and did it. I mean, Arsenal were uncharacteristically generous in defence on occasion, but brilliant performance by Manchester United. It was a brilliant game, by the way. And Michael Carrick, it's not a surprise. He's a good football coach, and you don't have to be a great football coach anywhere. As I keep saying, and I'm going to say it again, you have to be the right football coach. And right now, he's the right man for Manchester United. And look at Bruno Fernandes, relieved of having to drag his carcass around central midfield and play as a 10 again. Look at the stuff he was doing there. Brilliant.
Yeah, he's a good player. I think the thing is, though, let's see how they go. I want to see how they go against the likes of Fulham, because even under Amorim, they were better against the better teams.
That's fair.
So we need to see how they go on Saturday. But signs are good. There's no question.
Yeah, Dorgu again is worth. I mean, it's not just the goal, but his contribution in the last couple of games. They look a lot of them. It's the old cliche, like the shackles are off a little bit, and they're enjoying their football again.
And Dorgu, he's a typical player in the new way that the Premier League's being played. He's a huge man with good footballing technique, allowed to run and knock a few people over and beat them and have a great shot. Two things I want to very briefly mention as set themes for today. It was the weekend of great long shots. I mean, absolutely brilliant goals from distance. Hello, Arne Slot, complaining about low blocks. There's one way to beat them.
Yeah.
Belt
Very
the ball
true.
in from distance.
Yeah.
And secondly, maybe this has been picked up by somebody else on talkSPORT, because Arsenal have been running away with this up to now, I think we've been blinded to just how close and strangely unpredictable this year's the Premier League is. If I told you now, following Arsenal's latest result, that not one team in the top 8 has got a positive form currently, not one team in the top 8 has won 3 of the last 5 games. They've all got a negative win ratio. You have to go down to Newcastle in 9th to find a team that's won 3 of the last 5 games. It's incredible. I can't remember a season like it.
And you win 2 or 3 and you're up there, and you lose 2 or 3, you're down. It's a really strange league. I did notice yesterday that Arteta, his notes, he uses a Sharpie, a felt pen. Then he was folding over the paper to make more notes. I thought that's a mistake, because it goes right through the paper. If you ever use it on a single piece of paper.
Andy, an inveterate note taker like yourself would be. He's an amateur. He's an amateur. It's what used to be called a magic marker. And I remember I've got one of my friends was a teacher, bless her, and she remembers coming home from school one day, and she said to me, "Yeah, the kids have seen through that." One kid asked me, "Miss, do you really think that marker is magic?" Because she kept calling it magic. Do you really think it's magic?
Probably why they changed.
Now we can maybe do a little straw poll, because we can take the pulse of the Arsenal fans and whether they're getting nervous, because Mrs. Kelly, of course, is an Arsenal fan. So has she been a bit tetchy today? She getting worried?
Do you know what? More than that, the family WhatsApp group, normally awash with goon jollity.
Yeah.
Not that they're frightened, they're completely silent. I think that's even more telling.
Wow.
Not a peep about it from any of them.
We'll keep an eye on that. As you said, long shots, we were bemoaning the fact that not enough teams, certainly our team, Danny, completely immune to them. But that lovely Buendia goal, it's got to be up there for goal of the month. A lovely, beautifully worked goal, wasn't it? Lovely little touch and a lovely finish by Buendia.
There's just so many of them to discuss here, and I personally like the ones that like Wilson's free kick for Fulham. We'll get onto that, no doubt, where the ball is still rising when it passes the goalkeeper, who's starting to fear for his life as it comes near him.
So we're talking about Newcastle Villa, and again, fantastic result for them to go there and do that. Considering they played away in Europe on Thursday. I'm going to say something a bit Spursy here. You'll know what I'm talking about, Paul. Except for Matty Cash, they're an incredibly likeable team, Aston Villa, because they've got good players who are, again, allowed to perform. I thought it was an interesting tactical game, this, because Newcastle's midfield is highly rated, and quite right. But without Bruno Guimaraes, they're not quite the same. And I thought what Emery did, and because he's a brilliant football coach, was to give up all width in their team, and they went for Newcastle through the middle. And again and again and again, they passed through Newcastle's famous midfield without attempting to take the ball wide at all. And that's down to having a fantastic manager. You also need a forward as willing as Ollie Watkins to move out of the central positions to allow those moves to develop the way they did. Look, I'm not following the result here. I thought Aston Villa were fantastic on the day.
Yeah. They look nailed on top 3 for me. I mean, minimum, which would be a great achievement.
13 goals from distance, that is now, Danny. They've scored. I mean, Morgan Rogers...
That means they must have had at least 13 shots from distance, Paul, yeah?
Well, you obviously worked for Opta at some stage, Danny, so I'll bow to you. Newcastle-wise, as you said, the Bruno thing is a weird one. Eddie has said there's not money to spend.
They are a bit inconsistent, aren't they?
Yeah.
They blow hot and cold, Newcastle.
But less inconsistent, as Danny says, than everybody else in the last 5 games. So make of that what you will.
They never win without Bruno. I know he hardly ever misses a game, but for a small sample, they never win without him.
Palace 1, Chelsea 3. Pretty routine for your boys.
I mean, a little bit. The start was a bit tricky, and the end was a bit tricky. And 2 o'clock kickoff after a heavy Sunday lunch, it was quite hard to stay awake in the early part.
That's not the players. That was you.
That was me. I'm afraid.
I'm relying on the commentator on the Beeb Match of the Day for this, because I wasn't there. But he said, I mean, obviously he's commentated at Selhurst Park a lot. He said it's not quite the same buzz. I mean, there is a danger with everything that's been going on with players going and the manager wanting out, that it could become all a little bit stale for the rest of the season. That's the last thing you want.
Well, look, first of all, let's say when it's rocking, I still believe that Selhurst Park is the most fantastic atmosphere in English football, now that West Ham have moved themselves to a non-atmospheric ground. But I'm trying to think of occasions when lame duck managers, which is what they've now got, Crystal Palace, has ever worked. It gives the players half an excuse to come 5% off their performance. Mateta saying he wants to go in public hasn't helped, and so I'm not surprised. And of course that's reflected in the team as well. They will have started to guess or know even before Glasner announced it public. He tried to say, well, we were playing badly before I announced it. The players will know by now. Their agents will know by now before he announced it, and Palace have got a huge decision to make here, because good coach though he is, if he is lame duck, if it's given the players an excuse to come off their performances, then they're going to get dragged into that relegation zone, or certainly into the fight. The game was notable for two things, I think. Esteval's performance, unbelievable. If you think that another Brazilian teenager, Endrick, got 3 goals for Lyon on loan from Real Madrid at the weekend, I have a suspicion that Brazil are going to go with Ancelotti, are going to go very deep into the World Cup, particularly if the high temperature games means that the game will be slowed down. The explosiveness of their young forward players, plus Rodrigo, plus Vinicius Junior, means watch out for Brazil in the World Cup. The other thing is the refereeing was really strange, I thought.
I want to talk about this too,
I mean, Caicedo makes 2 half bad tackles, gets away with it. Wharton does exactly the same 2 things, and he goes. It's not right.
I think the gap between them was the problem. And in between the 2 tackles, he also did 2 more fouls. So I have less sympathy for.
I think it was the revenge aspect. I think he had kind of lost his head, Wharton,
that's
for that second one.
That's nothing to do with the referee.
No, that's very true.
I had the problem with the penalty, because first of all, make a decision. I mean, it
was a mess, wasn't it? It's a whole.
So badly
the rule is a
explained.
mess. The application's a mess. Yeah.
So it was really badly explained by Downing. And he took so long, and you think to yourself, did what happened the day before when he was on the VAR and the other guy went against him, Ferry Alarm, and so you wonder whether he thought, well, I can't go against the VAR because that's going to look like I only did it because he did it. And I'm sure all that must have been something going on there with all that. It was a bit of a coincidence that it happened to be him who happened to have to make that decision.
It seems to be even in law, because I've seen our old mate Dale Johnson making a case for it not being right in law. Other people then showing. I mean, it seems a kind of a complete mess, really.
I mean, it did stop the ball going in, but he was a bit unlucky, I think. But
it's true that was it Tony Harrington who was the referee who had to say that thing he said. So it's not a deliberate.
Darren England.
Oh, Darren was Darren England. Well, not a deliberate handball. Hey, though it is a penalty.
I know. It was so badly explained.
Nonsense.
Bit panto, wasn't
nonsense.
It? Really?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Because the way the law is currently constructed, God forbid somebody has a heart attack in the 6-yard box, falls dead to the ground, and the ball hits their corpse on the hand. They'll give a penalty.
Is this your "you are the ref," Danny?
I'm telling you now. Everything else has happened in my lifetime in football. Why not that?
They made a very good point.
They'll give a penalty.
They made a very good point on the telly, though. If it's a not deliberate handball,
it can't be a penalty.
It can be a penalty, but how can it be a booking?
We'll get Paul Trevelyan to knock that up. And incorporate Gabriel Martinelli trying to heave the bloke over the line.
And do it for you.
Excellent. Well, on that note,
I did work out though that Chelsea have dropped 15 points from winning positions, which if they hadn't, they'd be top of the table.
Oh yeah, but they're my auntie and all that.
Exactly.
We'll move on with more with Danny Kelly. Brentford 0, Forest 2 is up next. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station. talkSPORT understands that the Lucas Paquetá deal is edging ever closer. His move back to Brazil to Flamengo. I think the results of the last couple of weeks have cushioned any particular blow, although a number of West Ham fans, including their old mate Tom Rennie, who I saw the other day, was prepared to drive him to the airport. I think it was that stage where get the money and invest it.
Absolutely.
We'll come on to West Ham later on.
Right.
Dr. Tottenham's fine medicine from last week is already paying out for them. Let's move on, though, to Brentford 0, Forest 2. And in light of West Ham's win the day before, big 3 points for Forest, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. Just very quickly on that Paquetá deal, that's a very important deal in world football. The amount of money flooding through and into Brazilian football. Imagine even 3 years ago if you said that a major and well-paid Premier League star would go directly to Brazil. You'd have said, you're dreaming, Danny. You're making that up just to have something to say on Trans-Europe Express. It's now... And there's all kinds of reasons for it. Brazilian football is sucking in all the talent out of the rest of South America, and now starting to that deal will be starting to show that they can take players from other apparently more important leagues as well. But Nottingham Forest, look, they're a really good squad of players, Nottingham Forest, and their recent form hasn't indicated that. But once Igor Jesus did that lovely turn and shot, you could see the confidence flooding back in. And, you know, on paper, you could look at the stats for this game. Brentford dominated, but I'm using dominated with inverted commas around it. It was exactly the kind of domination that Sean Dyche likes. They had a good chunk of the ball. They had good territory, but not where they needed it in the penalty area, where the old firm of Murillo and Milenkovic within 10 yards of their goal, they defy you. So you have to do something special normally to score against Nottingham Forest. And, you know, they've also got forward resources that other teams can only dream of. Taiwo Awoniyi is a good footballer. And, you know, you bring him on against a tiring defence and a defence that's pushed forward as well to try and get an equaliser. That was a lovely run and score. Really good performance and a very important result for Nottingham Forest, given West Ham's, as you say, North London assisted revival.
And look at the highlights. I thought Brentford had enough chances. Forest were more clinical. Considering how pathetic they were in Braga on Thursday, that was to go to a difficult place like the GTEC win, that's very good, especially with West Ham having won the day before, so vital 3 points.
Yeah, it was. And it was the battle of the two Eagles, which sounds like some sort of offshoot of Young Frankenstein. But, Igor Jesus is the one in the box seat at the moment, Tim Vickery tells us. There's that snobbery around Igor Thiago. If you come from lesser clubs, they get a bit sniffy about it, clubs they've never heard of, like Brentford. But it's interesting, wasn't it? I mean, as you said, it was a great...
It might be João Pedro as well.
João Pedro as well. It's lucky, though, that they've got Ancelotti, who knows the Premier League and knows the quality of the teams even in the bottom half of the Premier League. So I think that snobbery, and Tim refers to it, but I think that he's the ultimate... seer past problems, isn't he, Ancelotti? And if he wants to take one of these lads, it doesn't matter if they were playing for Dulwich Hamlet, he'd take them, you know. And you talked about the resources of Forest up front. They've got Lorenzo Luca to come in next, haven't they? 6'7" striker, so they're adding to the mix, so they should be all right for the second half of the season. What Sean Dyche's plan is for a 6'7" striker. Can you?
No, not at all.
Good feet for a big man. City 2, Wolves 0, and from what I was sort of listening to on the day as the game was unfolding, it was a bit of nerves, a bit of trepidation at the Etihad, but they got it done. Not the most convincing performances.
They're not the patsies they were. They're definitely. I told you last week they're going to take points off people, and this wasn't the worst result.
You could, if people weren't paying attention, you say, what a forward line. Doku, Haaland, Foden, that's their bench.
Yes. Yeah.
Haaland doesn't want to be rested, but he probably does need a rest. They have got a Champions League game they would prefer to win in midweek because otherwise they'll go into the punishment round. It seems very likely in the Champions League. If you're going to rest those players, I suppose Wolves are a good choice. The game was closer than the scoreline would suggest. Both sides had an equal number of shots. The difference was the quality of possible finishing, and Semenyo's first touch for the goal, which takes the whole Wolves team out of it with 1 3-foot touch of the ball. Absolutely brilliant. City, they're just not what they were. Let's be honest about that. And we knew this when Pep said none of it is working. There is a change going on in football where even the high press is being slightly replaced by man marking in different parts of the pitch and all the rest of it. And he is as yet to get the players around him to deal with some of that. This is Arsenal's lucky thing, I think. Although they've hit a slightly shaky bit of form, I'm not certain that Manchester City are the Manchester City of previous seasons to actually hunt them down in the long run. Congratulations to the referee, Farah Hallam, in his first and very possibly last Premier League game.
Well, let's hope not.
Absolutely
Let's hope not. I think such has been the kind of pat on the back he's had collectively from football fans. I think Howard Webb would be very surprised if he suddenly sent him back down to the
such poor form from Pep to do what he did. I thought it was pathetic. If it had been the other way round and the referee had done that, he would have gone, how great for the referee to go. You know, it was absolutely one-eyed Pep at his absolute worst. He should be ashamed of himself having a go at a referee like that in his...
And particularly a referee making his debut in the top league.
Really poor.
It's no good.
More from Danny next. We're going to bring you Bournemouth and Liverpool and finish all the games from the weekend. Still one to come. We'll look at Everton Leeds tonight with Sam Avery later in the show. Don't forget the latest daily podcast is out now, the talkSPORT Daily Podcast. Majestic and Alan Pardew review the weekend's action. If you want to hear more, then the talkSPORT Daily is available on all podcast platforms now. Later on in the show, we'll find out more about the Brazilian striker who could be about to buy Colchester United. But first, Tom Clayton has the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon. Is this an Arsenal wobble or not? Defeat at home to Manchester United cuts the lead to 4 in the table, but Manuel Petit is reminding everyone the Gunners still have more points from their last 5 games than either City or Villa.
This is not the same Arsenal that used to be, 2 seasons ago. They changed. They are not the same. They're leading the Champions League spot. They're leading the Premier League. They are the best team at home, the second best team away from home. So come on, guys.
Meanwhile, how much credit do we have to give Manchester United? Michael Carrick's gone 2 for 2. And while Simon Jordan's impressed, he wants to see what they can do against non-dominant sides like Fulham this weekend.
In both of these two games, against Manchester City and against Arsenal, I would suggest the ball was dominated by Arsenal and Man City. So it puts a different onus on Man United than it will do against Fulham.
While it's getting tighter at the top, it's certainly doing so towards the bottom. Wins for Forest and West Ham this weekend have just turned up the heat on Leeds. But the former Leeds striker Jermaine Beckford says the Dominic Calvert-Lewin factor may be the difference.
He just doesn't look like he's not going to score. He looks like he's a constant threat. He gets himself in the 18-yard box, anywhere in between the penalty spot and the 6-yard line. That's where he is. Not only is he decent on the floor, but he's a beast in the air.
Calvert-Lewin returns with Leeds to face Everton tonight. It's exclusively live on talkSPORT. Now, it's our understanding that West Ham and Flamengo have an agreement in principle over Lucas Paquetá. Formal steps are to follow. Meanwhile, Fulham are readying a bid for Oscar Bobb. City want £35 million. With a week left until deadline day, get all the latest on talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Reform UK now has 8 sitting MPs after claiming another Tory. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's defended the decision to block Andy Burnham from becoming an MP again. But is it the right one? More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Largely cloudy today with outbreaks of rain heavier in the south. The storm Chandra rolls in with flooding possible.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We'll take a quick look at the transfer market. They're relatively quiet today. I imagine it's going to be a big week. It closes, of course, next Monday evening, does the window. John Waldron, down in Colchester from the Daily Gazette, tells us more about this move. Alexander Pato, formerly of Chelsea and Milan and Brazil, of course, looking to buy Colchester United. But we're going game by game through the Premier League weekend with Danny Kelly. Got 4 games to squeeze in. Bournemouth 3... Liverpool 2, another really dramatic game from the weekend, Danny.
Often is with Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Well, because Areola, their form has been, their results have been poor, but he continues to play on the front foot and try and get goals to overpower teams. So on the Fools panel on Friday, I said that there'd be 4 more goals in this game because Liverpool are finding all kinds of ways to do strange things. Bournemouth's poor form was hiding some good performances. Liverpool's unbeaten run was hiding some unconvincing performances. And so there was no surprise when this came about. But, Bournemouth, they have got ways of hurting you. But Liverpool, as I say, there's something at that club that isn't quite right at the moment. When the first goal is Virgil van Dijk just staring at the ball like he's hypnotised before somebody hooks it back into play and they score. And then they went, was it nearly 8 minutes?
Yeah, 7
with
minutes.
10 men by choice.
Yeah.
Now, presuming that's an instruction coming from the touchline, because they had the ball. I haven't gone back and counted. They had the ball several times during that spell and chose not to put it out in order for, I think it was Wataru to come on for Gomez, wasn't it?
Yeah.
These are signs of clubs where the details are not knitting together because something else is distracting them. And I don't know what it is. I'm not inside Anfield, and we all know that what a difficult close season they had on a personal level. But it goes on and on and on, and they're just not what they would want to be. And the manager's saying it's going to be a transition season. I'm sure the owners, having spent £440 million in the summer, will be delighted to hear that was transitional money. Extraordinary thing to say. He Arne Slot is in trouble there, isn't he? Because he doesn't. Not only does he not seem to be able to raise the ceiling of the team's performance, when you start having detailed things that are costing you goals, then I think he'll be being looked at through beady eyes by the owners.
And they've got a ready-made replacement in Xavi Alonso if they So,
But you imagine that if they were going to do that, that would be the summer. Wouldn't
that
it?
would, yeah.
Well, they got Steven Gerrard as an interim if they want. They got plenty of stuff going on there.
Van Dijk is definitely suffering a slight drop off. I mean, he's still a good player, obviously, but he's not quite the player he was. And Iriola's football, I'd love to see what he'd do with better players, top players.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk for obvious reasons about whether managers can scale up. You do sense Iriola would be one of those that style would scale up, Danny.
You'd hope so. I mean, you can never tell. All management appointments are a gamble. The issue for him is that I think he would probably have his eyes on going to Athletic Bilbao in the next year, but they're playing so poorly they may not qualify for any European football, so that may become slightly less appealing to the Basque person for next year. So that they need to, if their form would pick up, I think it would simplify the future for Iriola.
Fulham 2, Brighton 1. Again, it was about that sort of Harry Wilson free kick at the end, Danny, that you touched on before.
Oh, I mean, a howitzer, wasn't it? But it was a lovely moment for this section on talkSPORT, where our two contenders for the Hawksbee and Jacobs Ballon d'Or, Welbeck and Wilson. It was a big shootout, wasn't
it? Yes, there was,
Danny Welbeck got another brilliant goal that probably within the next 2 years would have been allowed to stand. Arsene Wenger has finally got his way, and they're trying out the daylight offside rule, which gives all of the advantage to attackers in Canada next season. And once these things start getting tried out, they tend to get introduced. But Welbeck, was he going to score with his shoulder there? This is where the offside law is a little bit unfair. But, Wilson's form... And here's the problem for other teams now, and Fulham fans won't mind me saying this. You're having an amazing season. We're lamping in goals from every angle. You're 28 years of age. Is somebody somewhere is writing a cheque? Do the cheques still exist? For 70 million with the idea of getting Harry Wilson. Can you really take a gamble on him after one great season? Though he's played like this for Wales for a couple of years now.
70 million.
That'd be a lot too much. I've written in my notes, Ayari with a rasper, as we used to say.
Whatever happened to raspers?
They went the way of Thunderbolts, Paul. They went out of business.
I think they did. They probably did. Yeah, you're right. Brighton really should have won. They had enough. I mean, Fulham had 2 good chances and scored both.
Brighton should have won this game.
Yeah, but that's been quite a few games like that
but
this
both
season.
These teams blow hot and cold. So many teams do.
Yeah, everybody seems to be beating each other. So here we go. Burnley 2, Spurs 2, Danny. I know you've already done sort of an hour or so on this on the View from the Lane podcast, but it was another quite infuriating performance.
They needed to build on the Dortmund.
There's this pattern to every game. They start well for 10 minutes, and you think, oh, OK, this is looking good.
They look good,
And then they slow the tempo, and they drop off, and they let the opposition, in many cases, certainly the last 2 weeks, Burnley and West Ham, teams without a lot of confidence, to get a bit of confidence, get on the ball, get a feel of the ball, get themselves into the game. Now, I cannot believe that's tactical, unless that's Thomas Frank's springtime for Hitler. That cannot be tactical, Danny, but it happens every week.
Well, I get what you meant, Paul. But here's the thing. I don't mind playing 3 at the back. In fact, I suggested it for this Spurs team because their best players are defenders. It can be very attacking. You get the wide players really up the pitch and all the rest of it. He went with 3 at the back and a total because he chose to play Jed Spence over Matthias Tell with 8 defenders on the pitch, if you include the 2 defensive midfielders.
Away at Burnley, who are struggling for confidence.
So the message that sends to the players is we defend our point. If we get ahead, we defend that. Whereas what you need at Burnley, given their form and where their confidence must be, is to go and get the second. And you're absolutely right. They scored the first and then they stood off. The goals were ridiculous, with all due respect to Burnley. Kyle Walker is still a good footballer. You can't give him 30 yards to pass the ball into the penalty area to an unmarked by 3 centre-halves goal scorer. And the second goal that Burnley got, I mean, there are levels of punditry. We all do it for a living. But when the people on Match Day are forced to laugh at Tottenham's defensive set, they were laughing about Tottenham's defensive diamond, previously unseen anywhere in world football. Look, and there were mistakes in that goal by both Christian Romero and Mickey van der Ven. Arguably as good as the defensive pairing anywhere. And you saw you saw Romero's face at the end of the game. I mean, he pulled back the goal because he's just an amazing footballer.
But he had a very poor game.
They're the best finishers in the club, Van der Ven.
The thing is, Danny, that team needs a catalyst, whether it's a player, whether it's a change of manager. It needs something to happen before next Monday. Otherwise, I do seriously think they're in trouble. I look at the fixtures coming up.
They've got 4 losable games, haven't they? You know how we talk about winnable games? Spurs have got 4 losable games coming up, one after the other. At the end of that, they could easily be on the edge of the relegation.
Absolutely.
You can look at it the other way as well, though, that it could be a turning point if they can win a couple of these games.
But where are the wins coming from? We keep thinking this. We hear that the team are working hard. But well done to Burnley. We saw with West Ham last week, it was the Philip to go on and get a result. And it could be for Burnley as well. They could go on a little run. So let's talk about West Ham.
Hard to beat, but 5 draws from 7. Their last 7 is, that's not going to keep them up.
Probably not.
Unlike West Ham, Paul, Burnley don't have the quality to win the games they need to win. They can stay in games for long periods of time. They just don't have the quality that West Ham still have at the front of their team. Somerville's in great form. We should talk about that game now.
They've got Chelsea on Saturday. It'll be an interesting game, that, I think.
And, Matías Fernandes, who 2 brilliant strikes, great goal.
That's the goal.
Yes, that's the one,
That's a fabulous goal.
I mean, that's why people like Real Madrid are starting to sniff around him. Yeah, of course they are.
He looked quality.
That's why you felt it was big for Forest to get something. But, Tottenham, West Ham, Forest, Palace, there's a bunch of teams who really have got to put some performances together because someone's probably going to go...
It's odd, this league. You win 2 games, you do go quite far up the table. It's weird.
But I'm telling you now, Paul, tonight's game... Live on talkSPORT. If Leeds take the lead, open your sitting room door or window and listen to the alarm bells ringing from all the clubs you just mentioned.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because that's what will be happening, I can assure you.
I mean, look, there feels like there's still a very long way to go, and it's going to be
You say that with such enthusiasm, Paul.
I've been another trudge.
I did have this idea that Spurs could finish 17th but win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit...
That's what I'm holding on to,
It's a bit easier to win a Europa League than it is a Champions League.
They are going well in the tournament,
They are, yeah. They are.
They're going to change all
this.
Let's not get 6 teams in.
Let's not risk it. Let's not risk it, eh? Because
Paul's right. Something has to change at Spurs.
Danny, how do you feel about going down and winning the Champions League? I'm not.
I'd take that. I would absolutely take. Are you kidding me? Of course, I'd take that.
A year in the champion, you'd like another. Well, I say at least a year.
Paul, I'm old enough to remember the year Spurs got relegated to the old second division.
Same
it was
here,
the best season of my life. Spurs took 10 and 12,000 to away games until Easter. Were walking away with the league. Glenn Hoddle, the 18-year-old Glenn Hoddle, was taking a mickey out of seasoned second-tier footballers. It was a brilliant time. More of that, please. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Cheers, Danny. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks a lot.
Cheers now. Bye.
Danny Kelly there. Looking forward to going down, but winning the Champions League. That is the only trade-off. Hopefully, well, I'd like one of them to happen, but I'm pretty sceptical. And that's the Champions League. So, there we are, game by game with Danny Kelly. Still to come this afternoon. Mark Griffiths from Wrexham. Maybe Spurs will go to Wrexham. Me and Danny can go at the game together.
They might be
the
promoted.
Race course, that'd be good. They could be promoted. Well, they're certainly in the playoff positions, and their commentator, Mark Griffiths, made a bit of a bold claim after their last-minute winner against QPR the other day. We'll be chatting to him later on. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Get winter ready with heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Tool Station. Time then to look at what went on around Europe this weekend. Danny's partner in crime on Trans Europe Express, joins us now. Good afternoon, Andy.
Hey, fellas, how are you?
Yes, a little story we mentioned earlier on. Having spent most of last week talking up just how brilliant Bayern were, they go and lose for the first time in the Bundesliga. It was a bit of a shocker, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was not smash and grabby either. Augsburg really deserved it. Augsburg, who changed coaches going back 2 months and have won one game since then, bizarrely against Leverkusen, and not one in the six in between. And their coach, Manuel Baum, who used to be their coach and has come back as a sort of interim business coming up from the under-19s, he went on Sky before and said, we want to make this a day to remember. And everyone's like, yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. And then they go and win. It's remarkable, really. And the two winners from this, on a Bayern sense, Manuel Neuer, because he didn't play, and Jonas Urbig, his replacement, dropped a massive clanger, and Dio Upamecano, both of whom are in negotiations to sign new contracts at the moment.
Wow, way. Yes, I mean, what else went on in Germany this weekend, Andy? What were the other sort of notable headlines?
Well, Aaron Anselmino going home, of course. It was interesting seeing on Dortmund social media.
About it, are they?
Well, he wasn't. He was bawling his eyes out, and I thought, mate, you've only been there 6 months. I mean, it was quite a nice 6 months. I mean, he didn't play every week. When he did play, he played well. He had a few little injuries. They thought a lot of him, but really, it's a weird thing because Chelsea have brought him back, presumably because he's not playing enough, but is he going to play more at Chelsea?
No.
So you think it's a weird move?
This is a very strange move.
He's been called back off the loan.
Especially if they're still interested in Xhaka. I'm not sure that deal's going to happen, but if it does, that makes... Then there was talk that they might sell Achimpong. That was the worst thing they could possibly do.
Yeah.
But now they've denied that, so that's not going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see what happens if he gets any football, or if he goes. You'll probably send him back there on the last day, or send him somewhere else.
Well, if they're gonna send him like somewhere else, I mean, it seems a weird thing to do, the whole thing with the shirt presentation and stuff. Anyway, Dortmund, their main thing is holding on to a centre-back they do have at the moment, Nico Schlotterbeck, who, of course, Bayern and a number of Premier League clubs are interested in. Barcelona are interested in, even though he's way out of their financial bracket. But when has that ever stopped them before? Dortmund are thinking of going back on what they normally do. They never normally do release clauses, but they're offering him one and 14 million euros a year to stay. He scored the middle goal in a 3-0 win over Union Berlin.
Now, in Spain, funny enough, coincidentally, I'm currently reading a book in which a man takes a Panenka in a key game, and it adversely affects his whole life.
Really?
It really does. It puts the handbrake on the rest of his life. It's called Panenka.
Really?
Yeah. It's not really a football. It's great. So I'm really enjoying it. But it was odd that was going on during all this Brahim Diaz stuff. And Mbappe, as a show of solidarity, had a very interesting way of getting behind his teammate, didn't he?
Yeah, so he put them 1-0 up already, Kylian Mbappe at Villarreal, with his 20th La Liga goal of the season. Villarreal didn't really offer much, despite the fact it was a top-of-the-table game. Mbappe then wins a penalty in the closing stages of the game, takes penalty, Panenka's it down the middle and scores. And then he said afterwards that it was a show of support to Brahim Diaz. Brahim Diaz didn't look that happy about it,
I don't think he would.
Slightly tone deaf, you could argue, but his heart's in the right place.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, is what he was basically saying, wasn't it?
And what did Barcelona lose? There was something. What was this about flooding at Camp Nou?
Yeah, so as we know, Andy, it's not totally finished, the Camp Nou. In fact, it's not nearly finished. In fact, it's far less finished than we thought it was. Because basically what it really tipped it down, as it did a lot in a lot of Europe this weekend, there was torrential rain in the back end of Barcelona 3, Oviedo 0, which is the result we expected. And journalists had to cover their stuff, and people commentating on the game had to cover their stuff and walk away from it because there was literally sheets of rain pouring all over them. Now, some of the stuff I've heard in response to this in some of the Catalan press, well, it's a stadium under construction. Why would it have a roof in that bit that covers the commentators? Good question, I suppose. But given that this could have, seriously affected the televisual side of it, which is a huge thing for any football club. I mean, clearly it's not finished. We know that. But clearly there also have to be some basic things provided, right?
Yeah, you would think so, yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you, Andy. Ethan Ranieri's made a good start of his time at Marseille, under De Zerbi.
Yeah, he really did. And funnily enough, having said, as I had, that he won't replace Mason Greenwood, he did replace Mason Greenwood in this instance for the top of the table game against Lens, who were the leaders before the start of the weekend, simply because they wanted to give Greenwood a rest before the game away to Club Brugge in the Champions League this week, which they really have to go and win to make sure of a place in the top 24. So Ranieri started, scored a brilliant, quite Greenwood-esque goal, actually, coming in from the right-hand side and scoring with his left foot before Greenwood replaced him after an hour. 3-1 to Marseille. They're back in the title race, but he's not the most talked about teenage loanee in France this weekend because Endrick has absolutely exploded into Ligue 1, hat-trick for his second Ligue 1 game. So he's got 4 goals and an assist so far in his first 3 games for Lyon. But also Tyler Morton scored as they beat Metz 5-2.
You thought that was because Fonseca's there, you thought it was the perfect move, didn't you, really?
Yeah, and he's having a brilliant time. And clearly Real Madrid have put out through every semi-official briefing mouthpiece out there, we're definitely having him back next season, so don't even think about it in terms of next season, which is fair enough because they invested a lot in him in the first place. Clearly the click wasn't really felt with Xabi Alonso, which is interesting though, how Vinicius has not missed the opportunity before or after Xabi Alonso to put the boot into him, whereas Endrick was asked about him on Brazilian TV this weekend and he said, well, he may not have picked me, but I learnt a lot off him. I thought he was a good coach and now I feel good here. I'm scoring goals here and I'll go back and score goals at Real Madrid.
Really?
Okay. Good attitude.
Chelsea got Napoli in midweek, and I was surprised to see how poorly they've done in the Champions League this season, although Conte doesn't have a great record in Europe, does he? And they
quarter-final ever. Quarter-final ever.
They're not playing well. I mean, obviously, they lost 3-0 to Juventus. I mean, should Chelsea have a chance in this game?
Yeah, they will, Andy, and there's a lot of pressure on Antonio Conte and Napoli to get this right. And really, they grilled their joker in the last game because they were 1-0 up away to 10-man Copenhagen and they let a lead slip given to them by Scott McTominay. Now, look, they've got a ton of injuries at the moment, so Conte is, rather than tearing into the players, trying to keep their chins up. And he did that after the game against Juventus. Obviously, he had to go at the officials and all the rest of it. But they were really second best. The plus for them is that Romelu Lukaku came on as a substitute for his first appearance of the season. There's no suggestion he's going to start this game against Chelsea. The team pretty much picks itself because they don't have that many fit players at the moment. And as we know, Conte at this point, I mean, I don't know if we can even take him seriously as a Champions League coach. I mean, you look at the amount of big clubs he's coached and one quarter-final level, which goes back to 2013 when Juventus were knocked out by Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah, some big games this week, Andy, in the Champions League. Some pretty key ones. Teams, obviously, Danny's infamous punishment round. There's some teams hoping to avoid that, including City. What are the ones that are sort of really taking your eye?
City Galatasaray is a really interesting one because Galatasaray could do with getting something to make sure they make the top 24. They look like a punt for the top 8 and they lost a few winnable games since then. So a point would probably do them. If they get hiding, I think that they're probably in trouble, depending on who wins below them. So that City Galatasaray one is a really interesting one, although Galatasaray play with such a high line, I have to think that's good news for City. Spurs, I think, are in a really good position because they're going to an Eintracht Frankfurt team that are in bad nick at the moment and they're conceding goals left and right. They've conceded more goals than anyone else in the Bundesliga. Joint worst defensive record, 42 conceded, along with Heidenheim, who are stone bonkers bottom and definitely going down. And the one I'll be going to is PSV versus Bayern, where PSV could do with a little something. But as we were saying last week, it's really worth, Bayern will finish top 4, but it's worth them finishing top 2 because that guarantees you second legs at home all the way through, including the semi-final.
Wow, that is a decent prize, isn't it? Yeah. Andy, as always, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
We'll catch up with you soon. This is Andy Brassel. They're bringing us the latest from around Europe. If you missed last night's Trans-Europe Express, it is available as a podcast. You can listen back at your leisure. It's every Sunday night. It's a deeper dive into the world of European and touching on world football too. So go and check that out. John Warden joining us a little bit later on down in Colchester to tell us more about this story of Alexander Pato buying into Colchester United. Later on, we'll look ahead to tonight's game between Everton and Leeds live on talkSPORT. Sam Avery, comedian and Evertonian, joining us for a chat. But we'll get the news headlines next.
Is this an Arsenal wobble or not? Defeat at home to Man United cuts the lead in the league to 4, but Manu Petit's reminding everyone the Gunners still have more points from their last 5 games than either City or Villa.
They changed. They are not the same. They're leading the Champions League spot. They're leading the Premier League. They are the best team at home, the second best team away from home. So come on, guys.
David Seaman, though, admits the home defeat to Man United does add a bit of pressure.
You know, because of the history of the last 3 seasons as well. You know, like you said, we've only taken, 2 points from 3 from the last 3 games.
Arsenal are away to Leeds on Saturday. Leeds are in action tonight. They go to Everton live on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Meanwhile, Hill Dickinson has been given its first senior men's international. Scotland will play the Ivory Coast in a friendly there on March 31st. What news of the Scotland captain's potential move to Spurs, Alex Crook?
It's not definitely off, and obviously there's still a week to go in the window, but at the moment it looks like Robertson will stay and see out his contract. If the move does happen to Spurs, I'm told the fee would be around about £5 million, inclusive of add-ons.
And organisers at the Australian Open Tennis have moved things around again for the heat. Temperatures in Melbourne could reach 46 degrees tomorrow. Jannik Sinner and Iga Swiatek are into the quarters.
trip to South Africa with the Barmy Army on talkSPORT.
Yes, our next competition has arrived. England return to South Africa next winter, and as always, the Barmy Army will be out there in full force, and this time it could be you. We're giving away a week for two, the 2027 New Year's Test in Cape Town, every day of the match at one of the world's greatest cricket grounds, with flights, hotel and spending money all covered. It's your chance to secure 2 spots with the official Barmy Army, so you'll be right in the mix with the rest of the fans. So listen up, here's how to enter.
For your that was good. Oh, excuse me. For your chance to win, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or call 0343 418 7260. Lines close 6th of February 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is network promotion, full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now.
Yeah, best of luck. Paul Hawksbee, Annie Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We'll touch on some of the transfer stories of the day very shortly. But earlier on today in North Yorkshire, the inquest into the death of Gordon McQueen, the former Scotland, Manchester United and Leeds centre-half, concluded. The senior coroner, Jonathan Heath, told the court, "I've found that Mr McQueen suffered repetitive head impacts during his career. I'm satisfied that on the balance of probability that repeatedly heading footballs contributed to his developing CTE. The combination of CTE and vascular dementia led to pneumonia. I find the cause of death pneumonia, vascular dementia and CTE. It is likely that repetitive head impacts sustained by heading the ball while playing football contributed to the CTE." It's not the first, and sadly probably won't be the last inquest we hear into a great player like Gordon McQueen. Joining us now with this sort of Sam Peters, who is a journalist and author of the book Concussed, who's studied head injury and brain trauma in sport. Good afternoon, Sam.
Afternoon, guys.
I mean, again, not a surprise this really for Gordon's family, but still incredibly sad to hear these diagnoses. I mean, what do you make of what the coroner had to say?
Yeah, I mean, it is incredibly sad, and as you rightly said, Paul, almost certainly not a surprise to Gordon's family. Really interesting comments from the coroner. Felt to me like we've really rewound 25 years ago to the Jeff Astle case. Very similar findings here to the ones that were found with Jeff on the balance of probability, that repetitive head injuries caused or had a very significant part to play in his death from vascular dementia, but found within that chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, which is the brain disease which has now come to be associated with repetitive head injuries, repetitive brain trauma, and the fact that he said it, in all likelihood, his death was caused in part by that. So, this isn't new to football. This is at the very least 25 years old. I'd argue way more than 25 years old. But it's important that we don't jump to this idea that this is a new story.
I mean, we know Jeff's family were incredibly upset by football's response to the inquest into Jeff's death. I mean, how have things changed? Have they changed enough? Have they improved enough? Is football doing more, would you say, in that intervening, what was it, that was 2002, so 24 years?
I think it's doing more in terms of rhetoric, but is it doing more in terms of action? I think possibly, but almost certainly not in the eyes of most people who understand this subject properly. I think there's some tweaking around the edges, some really grown up and smart talk around reducing heading below the age of 12 or banning heading under the age of 12, which I know has happened north of the border in Scotland. But this is not just a football issue; it's a rugby issue as well. As you know, there's a big legal case going on in professional rugby, and I think all the sports can still stand accused of owning the research, promising more research than ever actually happens. And then when the research does finally become publicised, it's often distorted by the PR departments and commercial forces that drive professional sport. So, proper independent research is required and action as well, because, the lawyers of the governing bodies are arguing around this term causality, which is there is no proven causal link between repetitive head trauma and early onset dementia and neurodegeneration, CTE. And I think what my book sets to outline is the fact that that's not even true. And the fact that we've known about this association for a very, very long time, historically going back hundreds of years even. And then, as I say, the Astle case 25 years ago, how far have we come from there? Not that much further, I'd suggest.
So it's amazing that people are still disputing this, that this is going on and this was the cause of it. From what you're saying, they are.
Well, the governing bodies, the FA's own lawyers are disputing it. Their defence in the legal case is going to be, one of the defences is that there is no proven causal link. And, I think we saw this in smoking with the cigarette companies at the sort of the end of that debate, which is now obviously completely over. We saw it with big oil when it came to climate change, and we've seen it to, other big pharmaceutical companies with relating to addiction with things like opioids. This is standard corporate tactics to delay, to obfuscate, to muddy the waters, to deny the science, to own their own research, own the data. It is still going on. The public, I think, are way past this now. I don't think the public believe that there isn't an association. I think the public do believe that there is an association because, let's be honest, it's common sense. If you repeatedly bash your head when your brain rattles around as it damaged to the extent that you're actually symptomatic and showing demonstrable signs of a brain injury, which is what a concussion essentially is, then we know it's common sense that you're going to have problems later on, or you would choose not to do that because your instinct tells you not to do that because it's really not a smart thing to do. So to argue that there is no proven causal link, there's been something called the Bradford Hill test criteria, which is, again, another way of proving causality, which lots of people would argue that has been proven. The US Department of Health has declared causality. So, we're arguing in the sort of dying embers in that point, but it's a means of delaying what needs to be done, which is accepting that it's a problem and then getting on with trying to find out what we're going to do about it.
Sam, appreciate you joining us. Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Sam Peters, the author of Concussed, journalist. No, it's a really interesting book. We do recommend it.
We all love corporate lawyers. Aren't they?
I did a few shifts at Sky with Big Gordon, and he was a really funny, sort of sparky, lovely fella.
Yeah,
and it's so sad.
We did a Phoenix from the Flames with him. Yeah, he was great. He was a lovely man.
And it is so sad when you kind of think about their final years, you hear from the families. And we work with Jeff. We know how tough that is.
Absolutely.
We move on to the world of football transfers now.
Transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
It's relatively quiet out there, considering it's only a week to the window. I'm sure it's going to start hotting up. And there's been a few deals bubbling along. One of them is Oscar Bob to Fulham. Let's get the latest on that with Intuit QuickBooks and Ben Jacobs. Hi, Ben.
Good afternoon.
Anybody else in the frame? It always seems to have been Fulham, this move, but is there anybody else that could be smoked out, you think?
Yeah, Dortmund were the one that's made an inquiry earlier in the window, but it looks like Fulham are going to get this one over the line. Oscar Bob is happy to stay within the Premier League. Manchester City content to sell following the arrival of Antoine Semenyo. They're looking for a fee of between 30 and 35 million pounds. And what I can tell you is that the parties are now in advanced talks. Fulham sources have told talkSPORT that they're going to make a new formal written offer. Could be today, but certainly by the middle of the week. And because the valuation gulf is not particularly high now, and Bob is prepared to make the move, unless another suitor like Dortmund comes in at the last minute, there's a very realistic chance that Oscar Bob moves from Manchester City to Fulham.
It could be a really good deal. I mean, before he broke his leg, he was terrific and looking terrific, and it's been difficult for him. But then it's hard when you're a City, when you're out of the picture. So it could be a good move for Fulham, this.
Yeah, I think a smart move for Fulham, and what will be intriguing given the money they've got to spend and the backing for Marco Silva because they want him to sign a new deal. Are they going to drop 30 plus million on Oscar Bob? and maybe another 30 plus million on the US men's national team striker Ricardo Pepi from PSV. And that would be a big spend for Fulham, and it would make a statement. And maybe that would be the difference between Marco Silva deciding to sign this new 3-year deal or walk away at the end of the season, because those negotiations are done financially. Silva's told Fulham, if I sign, the finances are fine, the contract's ready. I'm sure that Silva just wants to wait and see what do they do in the window and make a decision a bit later in the season. And if they drop 60 million on 2 players, Bob and Pepe, that would be a very big statement from Fulham in the final week of the window.
Yeah, but there's some plum jobs available in the summer, though.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Last couple of weeks for West Ham maybe have taken the edge off those West Ham fans who are thinking we cannot let Paquetá go now. So it looks like the deal is edging closer. As Danny Kelly was saying earlier on, and as Tim Vicker has often said to us, it's hard to believe that you'd see a player going back to Brazil for, you know, just shy of £36 million. Those sorts of deals didn't happen a few years ago, did they?
Yeah, it's a massive deal for Flamengo, and they're trying to get Paquetá to sign in time so he can play against Corinthians, which is the next game for Flamengo. We'll wait and see whether that happens. My understanding here, as we broke yesterday on talkSPORT, is that an offer worth €41 million, fixed fee only, has been made by Flamengo, and the finances are acceptable to West Ham, but not the payment terms. So now the parties today, tomorrow, are going to thrash out that part. And the big breakthrough is the fact that West Ham no longer are adamant that Paquetá must stay until the end of the season. So the option was you either sign him in the summer or you sign him now and you loan him back. Now West Ham are prepared to do the deal immediately. There's plenty of time because the Brazilian window runs until March. But Flamengo really feel like this is a days or hours away kind of deal because they've got the valuation, they've got the buy-in from West Ham. Now they've just got to sort out the structure, and then this one is likely to be a done deal.
Yeah, and buying a couple of players early in the window has really paid off for West Ham.
No, it has.
So many clubs don't do that.
No, I just think it does. It just gives that a little bit of impetus, doesn't it? You know, 2 or 3 games past, it looks a different season. I mean, they've still got some catching up to do, but it looks a slightly different picture for West Ham after these last 2 weekends. Finally, the Andy Robertson situation. When the story broke last week, I thought, okay, that's an interesting move. It's a great pro and a winner and all that, and I could see the sense of it. But I did think at the time, would Liverpool let him go? And that seems to be the sticking point, doesn't it?
Yeah, I wonder whether the late defeat to Bournemouth just created a change of heart, either on the club or the player side. And it's a strange deal, but a very positive one for Liverpool, where Andy Robertson never wanted to leave Liverpool in the lurch either. So the backstory here is there was an agreement in principle with Tottenham for around 5 million, including add-ons. Robertson was prepared to make the move, but like Antoine Semenyo, agreed to be part of the squad for Bournemouth and then have an Anfield farewell against Carrick midweek. Somewhere between the loss to Bournemouth and now, Liverpool have determined, okay, it's not right for us. And even though that in theory could change with market movement in the final days of the window, as of now, Robinson is staying put. Some sources say Kostas Tsimikas, who we broke on talkSPORT, was going to be recalled if Robinson went, was the issue here, because even though Roma were prepared to sanction his exit in theory, the catch was they have to find a replacement first, and time is ticking. So 90% Robinson stays, 10% Roma get a replacement, and then it unlocks the deal. But as of now, Liverpool are content for Robertson to stay. He's fine seeing out the end of the season. And then, of course, he's a free agent in the summer, and Tottenham might well come calling again.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Ben. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Ben Jacobs with the latest on the transfer window. We're going to find out more about Pato. That's right, the old Brazilian player at Milan and Chelsea, etc., in a consortium to take over Colchester United. That's coming up very shortly. And we're here with our very good friends at Tour Station. Now, just let you know that the latest episode of 21 Minutes to Go, the podcast with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy's out now this week. talkSPORT's answer to Brian Cox. Jason Cundy gives us insights into the world of time travel.
Oh, really?
That's who I often turn to for that.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
That Brian Cox.
That Brian Cox, yeah, not the one from Succession. Expect plenty of laughs, also a bit of education. Well, I'm not sure about that. So go and enjoy 21 Minutes to Go. It's available on your favourite podcast provider now. Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Still to come, we're going to be talking a bit of Wrexham later on. Maybe a bit of Wrexham like Stardust is what Colchester United are looking for, because it seems Pato, formerly of Brazil, and Milan and Chelsea briefly, showing an interest as part of a consortium to buy the club.
Well, a lot of people want to get involved in English football.
Yeah, breaking the story today, the Daily Gazette, Colchester United journalist John Waldron. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Paul. Good afternoon, Andy.
So, yeah. What about this, Pato? A little bit of Stardust, as we say. It's funny enough, though, we've had some Colchester fans getting in touch. Where's this one come? We didn't put his name in it. Pato would be a disaster. They'd shop window a load of Brazilian kids in the squad, along with the Brazilian manager, and undo all the great work the Cowley brothers have done in the last 2 years. Careful what you wish for, says one of the listeners.
Well, that sort of represents sort of the opinions of football fans, I guess, when you get a breaking story like this. You know, a whole range of different kind of views on the potential of this happening. But I think that the general consensus from Colchester United fans is that this would be a pretty amazing development for the football club.
They probably are seeing some sort of TV documentary off the back of it. Welcome to Colchester. So, I mean, how far down the road is this?
As far as I know, Paul, it's not particularly far down the road. There's been succession of discussions that the owner and chairman, Robbie Cowling, has had over the last 8 months or so since he put the club up for sale. And there was one particular takeover that failed that was it looked pretty concrete with Lightmore Sports Group based in the US that didn't come off. So, you know, there's been a few groups that have been interested, and our Pato's group is the latest of them. He was a guest at Colchester United's home game against Fleetwood Town on Saturday and was sort of shown around and spotted there. And it seems as though discussions have taken place, but how advanced they are, we're yet to sort of discover.
They're just outside the playoff places, aren't they? So you're sort of in and around it. You can understand the attraction, the possibility of sort of getting into playoffs and doing well. I mean, is there something that could happen before the end of the season, or would it be something that would sort of kick off next season?
I think, Paul, the thing is that I think Robbie Cowling would like this to happen sooner rather than later. I mean, as I say, he's had the club up for sale for 8 months, and he wants a conclusion to this, really, for the good of the football club. But on the other hand, he wants to make sure that the club is going into safe hands. He's been in charge for 20 years. He's built up a lot of good things within the club, like the training ground and the fantastic academy that they have. And he wants to make sure that you know, he's passing it on to the right people. So the idea would be to get this done as soon as possible. But we all know with takeovers that these things can be pretty complicated sometimes.
Andy was making the point that he's only 36. So, I mean, could he turn out? I mean, you don't get many player owners, do you, John? But that would be exciting. That would certainly put a few on the gate, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a very young, potential owner, and I think he retired sort of only 12 months ago, so he's fresh out of the playing game. And I know Colchester United fans would love to see someone like Pato adorn the shirt for them, but I have to say they've got a few very talented young players already playing up front for them. So maybe he'll struggle to get into the team at the moment.
Probably want to manage the team as well.
We have a chat with Danny Cowley on the show now and again. Is he well regarded? The brothers well regarded down there by the fans?
Absolutely, yeah. They've done a fantastic job. When they took over at Colchester United a couple of years ago, they were in real danger of going into the National League and had been for a few seasons. And they've really lifted the club up from the bottom. And the actual sort of relationship they have with the supporters is superb. They're 3 points off the playoffs at the moment, so they're going really, really well. 3 wins in a row, 6 unbeaten. So there's a real momentum growing. And being Essex boys as well, I guess they have a connection to the club already.
And finally, John, if this doesn't work out, at least it puts a lot of eyes here. We are talking. We probably wouldn't have been talking about it if it was a bunch of local businessmen. And, globally, people will notice this. And so it may smoke out some other potential buyers.
Absolutely. I think it's positive publicity for Colchester United. As I say, they've been looking to sell the football club for some time now. And this can only be a good thing, I think. Hopefully things work out and we see sort of Pato as part of an ownership group at the U's. But if it doesn't, as you say, that it may well sort of make people aware that potentially if they are looking to get involved in a really good football club at EFL level, then Colchester United could be the one.
Nice one. Cheers, John. All the best. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Thanks, Paul.
John Waldron there from the Daily Gazette, Colchester United correspondent. Yeah, see, we'll keep an eye on that one for you and see what happens. Kieran McDonald's going to join us in the next hour. He had a good amateur career as a fighter. He's turning pro. He's got his first pro fight coming up. He's got Ant Croller, a former world champion and trainer, working with him there. And he has a link to our own Mickey Gray. So he's also a Sunderland fan, is Kieran. So we'll be chatting to him in the next hour. And Mark Griffiths, the Wrexham announcer, you probably do know from working with Wrexham on Disney. We're going to be chatting to him and looking ahead to Everton versus Leeds tonight with Sam Avery. That's live on talkSPORT. All the build-up from 7. Yeah, big game tonight between Everton and Leeds, and Sam Avery joining us for a chat in the final hour, the Evertonian and comedian. But Tom Clayton's here with the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon. While some are relishing an Arsenal implosion, Gunners legend David O'Leary's calling for calm. He's told us the players need to step up and has noticed something in their last few Premier League outings.
They become cautious, maybe a fear of we don't want to lose, instead of taking the shackles off. Not that the coaches put the shackles on them. Maybe they've got into themselves a little bit. And those players, the inventive players, they've got to step up and create a bit of magic, really.
That defeat at home to Manchester United was their first home defeat of the season in all competitions. Simon Jordan says you have to give credit to Michael Carrick, as it seems a switch has been flicked in the dressing room.
The player might have been legitimate ones from Amram's point of view, but he doesn't have the same issues with Carrick.
Now, the Lucas Paquetá saga may finally be drawing to a close. It's our understanding West Ham and Flamengo have a deal in principle over his signing. It's not sat well with talkSPORT's Alex Crook, though.
I think probably morally he should have seen it out for the rest of the season and tried to help them stay in the Premier League. But we know that's not how some players operate. And I've got to say, speaking to West Ham fans, they look at his form over the last 18 months and they're not shedding too many tears.
Meanwhile, we understand Fulham are readying a bid for Oscar Bob. City apparently want £35 million. And a coroner's ruled that heading footballs likely played a part in the death of Gordon McQueen. The former Scotland defender died in 2023, having suffered with vascular dementia and CTE. Remember, Everton v Leeds is talkSPORT's exclusive commentary this evening from 7.
talkSPORT News.
Suella Braverman says she's come home after defecting to Reform UK, and Israel says the remains of the final hostage in Gaza have been recovered. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Largely cloudy today with outbreaks of rain heavier in the south. The storm Chandra rolls in with flooding possible.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to be joined by boxer Kieran McDonald and talk a bit of Sunderland. That's his team. He wants to fight at the Stadium of Light. That's his goal. He's got his first pro fight. So he's got some work to do, but he does have a link to our old mate Mickey Gray, former Sunderland defender and our man in Manchester. So we'll catch up with both of them, along with Ant Croller, who'll have a spring in his step today after Manchester United's win against Arsenal. And Sam Avery on the Everton Leeds game tonight. Andy, we did mention earlier on that you once blagged your way into a Super Bowl party. Although, no, we wanted to make yourself the big man at a Super Bowl party by claiming you were the son of Pete Rozelle, the then commissioner of the NFL. Pete, you wore a badge. You wrote a badge that said Pete Rozelle Jr.
I did.
In a room full of sort of American sports people, which you were in because you were at the Super Bowl. I'm surprised no one came up and said, "You're not Pete's boy." I mean, and then threw you out as a charlatan.
I was educated in England.
You did that one because why have you got such an English accent?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
So you kind of carried it off, did you?
No, I did.
Did you get through the evening?
What a fine actor I am.
Yeah, blimey. We were asking the listeners, have they managed to get? This was a good one. This is Connor. I was approached at Ascot Champions Day by an official saying, "Excuse me, are you Harry Hall?" He said, "I suppose by answering who's Harry Hall would suggest I wasn't." Apparently, it's a PGA golfer. He said, but if somebody asks if you're that person, you say, "Who are they?" It does seem
probably not.
Imagine this is from Tom in Stowmarket. Not anywhere.
Anywhere.
It's a long story. Went on nights out in different towns. Me and my friends used to pretend to be obscure Australian cricketers on tour. But I'd imagine, Tom, after a few hours of doing it, it's sort of funny at first, but when it's got like 11 o'clock at night, you're still having to pretend to be, from Hobart or something, just there playing for Warwickshire. I'm not sure.
I had a friend who looked like Bono, and he did. He passed himself off as Bono, and he even there was a newspaper article about how Bono had turned up at this club and a photo of him. I mean, he did look quite like him,
Right, a lot. Did he just have the sort of glasses?
No.
Was it the glasses?
No, the whole face.
Because we had a couple like that. Chris in Kent says, got married in Cyprus in 2011. I bought a straw trilby, a bit like the one Ollie Mers wore in the video at the time. And I got asked twice if I was Ollie Mers. So sometimes it's just the trilby. The second time I said, yes, I am. So they took a picture with me. And he said, I'd say I was about a 3 out of 10 for Ollie at best. Some people want to be, they want to believe, don't they? This is cruel, though. Who's this one called? I pretended for years to my kids that I was Banksy and told them they couldn't tell anybody.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Not very nice. Anyway, anything else you want to say, Andy?
Well, I've got 2 fantastic readers' trousers claims here, which I really do enjoy.
Now, this is the adverts for trousers. That I don't know. I've not bought a pair of trousers out the back of the Express or the Mail, but a lot of people do.
I suppose they must do. It says here the Smart Wool Touch trousers, new improved fitting. I was thinking, what do they used to hang around your ankles?
Well, the Brian Ricks look.
How much improved could it have been?
Nice.
Then there was this other one,
yes,
where it says. Hold on, I'm going to find it. Here we go.
There we are. Go, keep going, Andy.
Keep going, yeah. Oh, yes. This is a review of these trousers.
Yes.
It says, extremely comfortable and well-cut trousers in a nice range of colours.
Yes.
I ordered 2 pairs first, then ordered more. Oh, blimey, how many trousers do you need?
Well, one for every day of the week, don't you?
Well, not really.
Okay. Why don't you buy a pair one day and come in and model them for us? I mean, they can't be that expensive, can they?
I just don't buy trousers. First of all, I wear jeans most of the time. Occasionally, it's not something that I regularly purchase.
Okay.
So,
well, look, just make an effort, will you? You've spent years taking the mickey out of them.
The last pair of trousers I bought, I deliberately bought these massive trousers so I could hold them up and look like I'd lost.
You'd lost loads of weight.
Yeah.
So you'd walk around. See, this is just a show off, aren't you? It's Pete Rozelle Jr. all over again. So you like to go up to people and just say, "Look at me! Look at my old trousers."
Good photo, yeah, definitely.
Look at that,
Why
52 waist.
Tremendous.
You're a sick man, Andy.
I am.
Anyway, now it's time for this.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Yes, it's time now for today's Bet Builder with our friends at Paddy Power. We welcome back Fern Buckley, and we're going to look
Glamorous Fern Buckley, I should
Sorry?
say. Glamorous Fern Buckley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, thanks.
I follow you on Instagram, and you put up some lovely photos, actually, at some do, I think you were at, and you were looking
Oh, yeah, it was at the
very
Autosport
glam.
Awards last week. Lando Norris is getting commended. So Jackie Stewart was there as well. It was quite brilliant. Loved it. I could do that more often.
Fantastic. See, Fern's not buying her trousers out the back of the Daily Express, is she? Not for these flash dudes.
You never know.
Yeah,
You
that's
never
right.
know.
It'll come to us all in the end. So, I'm going to look ahead to tonight's game at the Hill Dickinson. Everton play Leeds. Just briefly remind us how the Bet Builder works, Fern.
Yeah, we've all made some picks across different markets, added them together, got some overall value like we do week in, week out. Paddy Power put a £10 bet down, hoping we get it right. If we do, when we do, it all goes to the Attitude Foundation. So fingers crossed for tonight.
Now, in most games you watch Everton play in, I mean, they've been playing pretty well. But Jordan Pickford often comes to the rescue. He sees a fair bit of the ball. And we know Leeds can be a bit front foot. So I've gone for Pickford to make 2+ saves tonight.
Yeah, he has helped Everton keep 7 clean sheets since the start of November, so no other Premier League team have done as well as that. But his season average is nearly 3 saves per game at the moment. The last time these two teams played, he made 2 saves. And just to add to that as well, Leeds are averaging over 4 shots on target per match this season. So when you look at that, looks quite likely. It's also a popular pick on Paddy Power as well. For Pickford to make 2 or more saves is at 2-9.
Okay.
Now, I have, because he's really improving. Even David Moyes has been talking about how he's much more vocal in training, more confidence. And you could see even when he was struggling, you could see there was a player there. And that goal he scored in the last game was excellent. So I think he may have 2+ shots tonight.
Yeah, that goal against Villa last weekend was really cracking, wasn't it? And he's had 22 shots in 14 appearances, so it's not actually too bad, but just under 2 per game. But when you consider, like you say, how he's been playing recently, 2 shots, not even on target, that's all he's got to get, 2 shots. It's not a bad one, and that is at 1-4.
Okay.
He's a super sub as well, so if for any reason he comes off, Paddy Power protects you back with that.
Headers count, don't they, as well? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Headers?
Headers.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
of course.
well,
It's attempts on goal. Yeah.
Well, shots.
Anything that goes towards a goal.
Yeah.
Off your backside? Anything?
Well, yeah, anything that goes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, okay.
As long as it doesn't go to VAR, right?
Exactly. So, producer has gone for the old law of the X. Dominic Calvert-Lewin to score any time, he says.
Going up against his former team, that could be quite spicy. He's in excellent form at the moment, having scored 9 league goals this season. 4 of those were coming in the last month or so, just over 5 weeks. So for him to score any time is in at 2-1.
Now, the popular bet with Paddy Power Punters doing a bet builder for this game is the Everton win.
Yeah, 15,000 people have this in their bet builder this afternoon. 15,000 people think that this is going to happen. And it's interesting because they have failed to win their last 4 home matches, but Leeds have only picked up 6 away points this season. So when you look at that, only Burnley and Wolves have picked up fewer than them. So, I think that is what's leading the people towards this Everton victory, and that is at 6-4.
I hope they're right. It feels like a draw to me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a 1-1 feeling about it, which would fit what you've gone with, Fern.
Yeah, I've gone for both teams to score, considering each of the teams' individual form, the particular players we've mentioned in this bet builder. I think we could see 1 goal or 2 goals from each side. I don't want to put my money on that, how many goals, but Leeds have seen both teams score in 11 of their last 13 matches. So I'm going to trust my gut. That's in at 18-1 for both teams to score.
Okay, and so what are we looking at sort of collectively across the bet?
Is actually quite nice. I mean, the last couple of bet builders we've done have been, 30, 40, 50 quid. This one, from a £10 bet, you can get a return of £188. So could be nice if we get it right tonight. And of course, if we do, all the winnings go to the Attitude Foundation, who do brilliant work with the LGBT community.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Fern.
See you guys.
There we are. There's Fern Buckley with Paddy Power's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
You see, Andy, that an old edition of Wisden, the rarest edition ever of Wisden, from 1875, your first season in club cricket.
It was.
Sold for £36,000. 36 grand.
Grand. It's tremendous, isn't it, really? But, it's the rarity factor. Congratulations to Katie Price, who got married after a 4-day relationship. I look forward to their golden wedding anniversary.
Yeah, you'll be there, won't you?
I'll be invited, yeah.
Fantastic. It should be a brilliant do.
Oh, that's like...
cricket's back tomorrow, of course. It's the final. It's delicately poised, isn't it? We're bringing you the 3-match one-day series between Sri Lanka and England, and it's 1 apiece going into the decider tomorrow.
To be fair, England played really well in that last game.
Yeah.
That was quite encouraging. Good innings from Brooke, who sort of restrained his natural tendencies to get out in a mad way.
So it's live on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow morning. It's a 9:30 start, isn't it? So we'll be keeping you updated here on talkSPORT. We can listen ball by ball in the morning on talkSPORT 2, and I'm sure we'll have one of the commentary team joining us for an update, and we'll be crossing for some simulcast action during the day. But let's hope England can get a win. They could do with a series win after what happened in Oz, couldn't they, really? So, we'll bring that one to you tomorrow. But we're going to talk boxing next. Well, kind of, because we're going to squeeze some football into it, because Mickey Gray's going to be joining us for reasons we'll explain as we chat to prospect Kieran McDonald. And Anthony Crollo, who's Kieran's trainer, will be joining us too, and he's a big Manchester United fan, so he'll be quite chipper a day after that win against Arsenal. Talking of which, 4 o'clock, we have Arsenal's very own Darren Bent and Manchester United's very own Andy Goldstein for Drive, and it's not often that Andy's been able to lord it over Benty this season so far, but he'll get his chance today, so tune in to the boys at 4. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station. Now, maybe we've been too ambitious with our simulcast we're attempting now with Ant Croller and Kieran McDonald. We're working on getting them box and trainer, respectively. And Mickey Gray, who will tell us about his link to the young boxer Kieran McDonald, but not until we get Kieran. But Mickey can join us now.
Well, he can mention it.
Hiya, Mickey. How are you?
I never let you down, Paul.
No,
Andy.
you're always
professional,
a very safe pair of hands. We should get you just very quickly before the boys pop up, and obviously Anthony's going to be very happy as a United fan. It's been some transformation this last couple of weeks. You keep an eye on events in Manchester for us, but yeah, I mean that is instant impact. I think it's fair to say.
Oh, I mean, they couldn't have dreamed of it, Paul. I mean, if you look at not just the wins themselves, but I think also the performances and witnessing the atmosphere in the stadium as well is just absolutely incredible. The first game, obviously, against Manchester City, nobody expected that. You know, it's weird, isn't it? Over the last 10 to 12 years, I think, you know, Manchester United have gone in against the big sides and nobody's ever turned around and went, they're going to give somebody a thumping one day. It's been that long, but I think that was kind of a performance of years gone by. They were so good, they were. And I'm so pleased for Michael. I'm so pleased for the players. And I think Manchester United overall. But I think the acid test for me, weirdly enough, is against Fulham at the weekend because that'll be a side that sit back and they're going to have to come up with different ways of breaking them down. But you can't fault them for what they've done the last two games. They've been outstanding.
No, that's what Andy exactly said that.
They've
You
got
agree?
no excuse not to finish in the top four. They've got the easiest run in. They're playing the less games. I mean, even yesterday they played a team that played 12 more games than them.
They've only just started playing well, though, haven't they?
Yeah, but it does make a difference.
What's the dynamic there, Mickey? I mean, you know, when a new manager comes into a club, not necessarily that you weren't personally having the previous one, but when it comes in and it galvanises everybody, is there a buzz in the place that the players say, yeah, I like this fella, I'm enjoying the training? Do you kind of notice? And why do players perform so much better?
Look at Rangers, Glasgow Rangers.
Yeah, I think the word you want to use, Paul, is probably a bounce. You know, in the first 2 or 3 games, there's always a bounce. And look, no manager's different to the other, and I've been through that so many times myself when I was playing. A new manager walks through the door and they say, look, it's a clean slate. So you've got players who've been on the periphery, if you like, or on the fringes. They're looking, thinking, right, this might be my opportunity to kickstart my career again, get myself back into the first team. Or you might have players who've been playing in the first team who weren't happy with the manager and the system and the style they were playing. And it just gives everybody that little bit of freedom. Training, there's always a bit of a buzz in training. But the most important thing is, and it doesn't happen every time, I think when you look at managers, they're always wanting to get off to a really sharp start. And Michael's done that, not just him. I think it's important, his coaching staff as well. They play a really important part in it as well. But it's just been fantastic. It really has. I mean, obviously, if you're not a Manchester United supporter, you're maybe not enjoying it. But I think, you know, you can just see them enjoying themselves. I mean, the first 30 minutes of the game against Arsenal, it was backs against the wall, but they hung on somehow. And they just turned it around and clawed it back, but it was a brilliant result for them.
It is interesting to manage. I mean, look at Celtic. I mean, Martin O'Neill does pretty well going in there. They bring in Wilfred Nancy. He's hopeless. Martin goes back. They start winning again. It's the same players.
Yeah.
It's so
strange. We have got Kieran and Ant with us, so let's bring them into the conversation. Kieran has got his first pro fight coming up after a noted amateur career, and Ant is his trainer, of course, former world champion. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, boys. You okay?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. We're good. So, Kieran, tell us a bit about the first pro fight.
Yeah, massive card up in Newcastle. Matchroom boxing card. It's a big opportunity for myself, you know. Coming from the amateur pedigree I've got, this is the kind of show I need to showcase my talent.
You were Commonwealth Games silver medalist and in the European Championships as well. I suppose that if you did that thing that a lot of fighters do, Kieran, is sort of want to fight in the Olympics and hang on and go another cycle, but in the end there comes a point where you have to make a big call, isn't there, really?
No, absolutely. I mean, I had a stellar amateur career, you know, medals in all major tournaments, and for me it was obviously the Olympic dream, having 10 fights in the Olympic qualifiers, winning 7, and just not making the cut was a tough one to take. But you know, this is a new journey now, and I'm really excited about the future. Coming into the gym with Anthony is sort of relit the spark that I kind of lost a little bit.
Yeah, Anthony, what have you seen in Kieran? What's impressed you?
Mate, I've sang Kieran's praises to almost everyone I've spoken to. I'll do it again, but no, superb boxer, boxing IQ, unbelievable. And I think at that weight, obviously, Kieran's 28 now. He'll have to be moved fast, but also he's good enough to be moved fast. And it's not about rushing because, listen, it's your first one in 18 months, but opponent who he's got on Saturday, he's sort of been in with all the top flyweights, super flyweights, bantamweights in the country, and I'm very confident Kieran will look every bit as good as any of them. I think he's a special talent, and I believe from that neck of the woods, it's a great. Obviously, he's a Mackham. It's in Newcastle, but he'll have great support in there, and I believe he definitely is the kind of fighter who's going to bring the big nights back to the northeast.
Your dream, isn't it, Kieran, is to fight at the Stadium of Light?
No, absolutely. I think it's every boy's dream to be able to fight at the hometowns club, in the football stadium and sell the place out. I know there's been talks of Josh Kelly doing that if he gets the win on Saturday. But for me, even to be on the undercard of that is massive. And then to headline there one day is a dream.
Mickey, let's bring you back in because you've got a link to Kieran, haven't you?
I have indeed, Paul. Yeah, he's my niece's boyfriend. So I've had the pleasure of Kieran's company on many occasions. He's came down and stayed at the house a few times. He was actually here last week, I think it was. He stayed for 5 days because all his training's down in Manchester, and he trains at Anthony's gym, which is great. And I was invited down last week. I think Anthony asked me to go in the ring with him for 3 minutes, and I kind of kiboshed that one pretty quickly. But I said, give us a couple of weeks, I'll do a bit of training. But it was great to see. It really was the way the setup, how relaxed it is. Dom McGuinness, obviously, we know from talkSPORT as well. Dom's managing Kieran as well. So, no, it's been great to see the journey, and it's going to be absolutely massive at the weekend. You know what they're like up there for the sport in the northeast, and they'll get behind Kieran. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure one day down the line, he will get that big fight at the Stadium of Light. And one more time, I might just turn up.
Oh, yeah. You've got to be there, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Anthony, on the football front...
top football.
Yeah, you'll be... I think last few times we've spoken, you've not wanted to talk about football, but you must be... you must know Michael Carrick. You would have met him along the way, wouldn't you?
How long have we got? Do you know what? I'm very sort of fortunate to know Michael pretty well. I was lucky enough he used to come watch a few of my fights. I was only last year at his, he has the Michael Carrick Foundation where he does a lot of great stuff for the kids not just in this area, around the northeast. He's a northeast lad himself, isn't he, Michael? And the last 2 weeks, the last 2 matches even, they've been unbelievable to beat both City and Arsenal. And it's just, I think, being honest, as the away fans there, I know away fans who travelled yesterday, and they said it was up there with as good as anything in the last 20 years. I know that sounds a little bit small club mentality, but to beat both City and Arsenal back to back the way we did, it was it's something that we've really needed.
Yeah, playing well and playing with a...
Not quite as good a result for you, Kieran, at the weekend for Sunderland, was it? Beaten. They were just a bit off it, weren't they? Against, West Ham did play very well, but you didn't see 3-0 at half time, did you? Really?
No, absolutely. It was one none of us expected. But when you first come into the Premier League, you didn't expect these weekends. I think we've surpassed everyone's expectations. There was a massive hole in the midfield, Granit Xhaka, which was really evident.
No, that's a good bit of business. That's why people some turn their nose up at deals, and I'm sure there was a few Sunderland fans thinking, "Oh, really?" But man, he's been really good for you, hasn't he?
He's been brilliant.
Yeah, he's been the heartbeat of the team, and it's not only the football side. He's got the full passion of the full city behind him. He's like a working class hero, He's more or less one of us already.
Yeah. So, well, again, look, you're looking... I think as much as anybody looks safe at the moment, it's such a topsy-turvy league, but you are looking pretty good. You're looking up rather than down at the moment. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been some season.
That's the point in the interview, Paul, where Kieran was supposed to big me up a little bit, wasn't it?
Who was your favourite player of all time? Could it possibly be the left-back?
It's got to be now, I suppose, doesn't it?
He said it was a tie between him, Phil Bardsley, Wes Brown and John O'Shea.
Although you were at Manchester United as a kid, Mickey, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I started there as a kid. I was with the class of the 92, but didn't quite cut the cloth, to be fair. But I've got no regrets. I had a wonderful time at Sunderland with 12 and a half years. So there you go.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Well, Kieran, we'll be looking out for you. I'm sure we'll talk again. We wish you all the best at the weekend in the fight. Appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Anne.
Yes, boys. Thank you, boys.
Take care.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Mickey Gray there, Kieran McDonald and Anthony Croller, his trainer, and Kieran in action at the Utility Arena in Newcastle this weekend. It's Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now talking of boxing, I've got some info for you. This Saturday, Madison Square Garden, New York City, and not the one in Streatham then, it becomes the battleground as Mr. Sports Station. And give the as King at 140, Teofimo Lopez, and pound for pound Prince Shakur Stevenson. Someone really enjoyed putting this together. Collide in a high stakes must-see showdown for the ring and WBO Junior Welterweight World Title. And don't miss the Zone's packed fight schedule with fights every week, including this Saturday as Josh Kelly, just chatting about it, takes on Murta Zaliev for the IBF World Super Welterweight title in Newcastle. Nick Ball, Brandon Figueroa kick off a blockbuster February of boxing, February the 7th. A highly anticipated rematch between Lee Wood and Josh Warrington will be building up to that one as well. Josh, a bit of a friend of the show. And Mario Barros versus Ryan Garcia, that's February the 21st, as well as the return of Claressa Shields on February the 22nd. You can watch all those fights and more only on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing. Is this an Arsenal wobble or not? Defeat at home to Man United cuts the lead in the league to 4, but Manu Petit's reminding everyone the Gunners still have more points from their last 5 games than either City or Villa.
They changed. They are not the same. They're leading the Champions League spot. They're leading the Premier League. They are the best team at home, the second best team away from home. So come on, guys.
David Seaman, though, admits the home defeat to Man United does add a bit of pressure.
You know, because of the history of the last 3 seasons as well. You know, like you said, we've only taken, 2 points from 3 from the last 3 games.
Arsenal are away to Leeds on Saturday. Leeds are in action tonight. They go to Everton live on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Meanwhile, Hill Dickinson has been given its first senior men's international. Scotland will play the Ivory Coast in a friendly there on March 31st. What news of the Scotland captain's potential move to Spurs, Alex Crook?
It's not definitely off, and obviously there's still a week to go in the window, but at the moment it looks like Robertson will stay and see out his contract. If the move does happen to Spurs, I'm told the fee would be around about £5 million, inclusive of add-ons.
And organisers at the Australian Open Tennis have moved things around again for the heat. Temperatures in Melbourne could reach 46 degrees tomorrow. Jannik Sinner and Iga Swiatek are into the quarters.
Hawksbee Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and Sam Avery, the comedian Evertonian, joining us for a chat. We're going to look ahead to our commentary game, the final Premier League game. Everton could shift right up the table with a win tonight. So, and obviously Leeds need something because they're right down there, and results for Forest and West Ham put more pressure on them at the weekend. So,
it
should be a good game, and you can get your calls into the sports bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy at 10 o'clock at night straight after that one. But at the weekend, our next guest went viral. He got a touch carried away in a commentary. It's understandable. He's been a fan of the club, man and boy. He's been commentating on their games since the 80s. And we're talking about Mark Griffiths, the Wrexham commentator. And I think we're 2-1 down going into injury time. And Josh Windass scored. And then, in the closing stages of the game, this happened, and before we chat to Mark, he made a bold claim. This is the moment from that QPR Wrexham game.
It's hacked away. Rathbone, constant this. We've got 9 seconds left of the 4 other minutes. The ref should have another minute on. Rathbone, long range. Oh, yes! Oh, my word, what a goal by Rathbone. I love that, man. Ollie Rathbone, have my children. Please, take them.
This is the beauty of the club commentator. You don't have to pretend.
You haven't got to sit there and be neutral, have you, really?
No, not at all.
Mark joins us now. Good afternoon, Mark.
Pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, what about that? Look, people probably would have seen you on the documentary and stuff as well. But, this has gone viral, the clip, hasn't it?
It has, and it was from the heart, I can absolutely assure you.
Yeah.
I've got to say, though, I had to issue a correction. It was wrong what I said. I've only got one child, and Ollie's welcome to him.
Oh, OK, fair enough. Have you haven't heard from Ollie yet, have you? Have you had any feedback from him?
I haven't, I'm afraid. No, I mean, Ollie's he's only a year and a half older than my son anyway.
Right.
So I don't know if he wants to take on that responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a sitcom pilot for me. Well, look, I've said to him, he's got to go, and so he moves in, and then they have hilarious scrapes together as they're only a couple of years apart. Ollie's missus saying, "What the heck's going on? Who's this bloke?" I could see it getting away. So, yeah, I mean, it felt like a big win, didn't it, in the closing stages? Because Andy said QPR not an easy place to go at the moment, and it pushed you into the playoff positions, didn't it?
Yeah, no, it's remarkable. We've only had 4 years in our history, obviously, at this level, and we've been up near the top during those 4 years. We're only at the start of the season when the table doesn't really matter. To be up there this close to the end of the season is astonishing, and to come back like you said in the intro, 4 minutes added on, 93rd minute, we're still losing, and fabulous goal. It's got to be said, Windas's goal was utterly sensational. And our first goal by Callum Doyle, was only the third goal of his career, was terrific. And when he hit that, you're thinking, oh, goal of the season. And by the end of the match, you're thinking, well, maybe it's the third best goal of the match. Poor lads, because the quality of our injury time goals were ludicrous.
Have you allowed yourself to dream of Wrexham in the Premier League?
Yes, but only because dreaming's what us football fans do, I think, isn't it? You know, it's. I mean, I've got to say, we all know the story of Rob and Ryan and the Allen family. That they're astonishingly good people, and you know, to be fair, an awful lot of the talk around the club is a little bit distorted. But the truth of the matter is that you could see the quality we were bringing in this summer. We weren't just along for the ride. He was bringing in Parkinson, really good players, and despite some people who think Parkinson's a sort of basic long ball manager, he most certainly is not. And his success rate in the transfer market is astonishing over these years, and the way he's managed to keep bringing new players in, but keep an amazingly homogenous changing room. It is, someone should write a PhD on it. I think it's astonishing.
He's done a great job, absolutely.
Can you recall your first reaction when you heard that these two sort of Hollywood people were thinking of buying the club? Were you sceptical?
I wasn't just sceptical. I was dead set against it, to be honest. I'd seen us nearly go out of business twice in the 2010s, and you know, call me unambitious, but I liked the security of the trust running the club.
Yeah.
Okay, we were in the non-league, but I knew there'd be a game next Saturday, and for a long time we kept thinking any day now we could be shut down, and it happened to us twice. So the idea of the trust selling up to anybody, I didn't like. When I heard who it was, I thought, okay, they're going to take a hell of a lot of reputational damage if they treat us badly.
Yeah.
And then when I actually looked into what they were like, and I was fortunate enough, Rob got in touch with me as well, and I sort of realised, oh, hang on a second, we've absolutely hit jackpot here, and they're so genuine, and the effect on Wrexham as a place is jaw-dropping. This was, you know, we were hit. Sorry,
I was just going to say, I forgot about the cup run as well.
Yeah.
Win in the last round.
You've been doing the commentaries since the 80s. So can you? What was the lowest point? What was the lowest point you feel in that period that you had to oversee as a commentator, Mark?
I remember us losing at Grays Athletic early on in our first non-league season, and deservedly so, and thinking, okay, hopefully this is as low as it gets. And 14 years later, of all that sort of stuff happening regularly, that's nothing. I remember losing 4-0 at home to Telford. No insult to Grays or Telford.
No.
But Wrexham shouldn't have that happen to them. I don't mean that in any arrogant way, but just, you know, a lot of clubs drop down to non-league and then they shrink as a club. Obviously, our finances took a huge hit, but the actual air around the club didn't. The crowds kept up remarkably well. You know, we'd get 5,000 or so for a non-league match. That's terrific.
Yeah.
And the response now as well. You can't get tickets for love nor money, but yeah, on pitch there were moments like that. They just brought home that a team we've knocked Porto out of Europe. So, and like I said, I don't really want to be unpleasant about the smaller city. A lot of them are wonderful clubs, but you know, we couldn't buy a win against Alfreton Town.
Yeah.
You know,
amazing, isn't it? Incredible story, incredible thing.
And another claim to fame I didn't realise you had. Your podcast, The Final Whistle, is the oldest football podcast in the world.
Yes, very much a triumph of old codgers hanging on in there and refusing to die. There were I started mine in 2005. We won what's now the Football League trophy at the Millennium Stadium, and I started it then. Obviously, 2005 is early for top podcasts. There were a couple of American soccer podcasts already in existence, but they don't exist anymore. So I guess by default and grim determination, it is the oldest football podcast in the world. We're a couple of months older than a couple of the national newspapers' big podcasts. So I am quite proud of that, to be honest with you.
Don't give them any publicity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I avoided that. Don't worry.
I can tell.
And you got the I'm trying to. what else is I was going to ask you something about something else. Oh yes, you talked about the town, and you talked about Wrexham as a place feeling like a completely different place because of what's happened to the football club.
Got to.
That's very tangible, is it? As you walk around as someone who's a native.
100%. The whole air of the place is different. On a very basic level, it's busier. There used to be an awful, like the high streets, an awful lot of it was sort of shuttered up, sort of kebab places that would only open Friday night and Saturday night, and then the high streets on a weekend night was like Sodom and Gomorrah. Be careful, don't go out there. Now there's all those empty shop fronts and the temporary shops like that are all full of actual businesses. I've interviewed people for the podcast who open businesses in Wrexham who say, they were young entrepreneurs from Wrexham, a group of them. All of them agreed sort of 15 years ago we could possibly take the risk of opening a business in Wrexham. We'd be dead within a year. Now they've all got their own businesses, and there's lots more, bespoke businesses rather than just your high street chains. And well, I mean, maybe the best thing I can say, it's lovely. We get an astounding amount of international visitors now. They started off just coming to pop in for an afternoon out of curiosity when there's already in Britain. It's now got to the point where people are coming here to Wrexham for a fortnight. Our sponsors got us to do, because I mean the stadium sponsors are not, their product's not available in Britain, which I think again tells you everything you need to know about where we can make more financial gains, and they asked me to do an advert for them, and it was a promotion in the States: win a holiday to Wrexham. Now, obviously, everyone in Britain that I speak to and I tell them this, oh, they can't stop laughing. I mean, it sounds hilarious. I totally understand. I agree. Yeah. In the States, when I tell Americans, they're all, why are people laughing at that? and I go out of my way to try and meet fans, because I've been lucky. I started up a hashtag Ask Wrexham on the commentary, and it allowed people to get in touch. And it's great. I'll if I can, I'll meet visitors for a coffee in town, and I've yet to come across anyone who hasn't really enjoyed themselves in Wrexham, because the warm welcome they see on the TV show is what they get, and the TV show is not really about football; it's about community, and therefore you get nice people coming looking for that. They get a warm welcome in Wrexham, and they really, honestly, I've yet to meet anyone who said, "Oh, come to Wrexham," or a disappointment, which is wonderful.
I do think there is a photo. If the press team are listening, there must be a photo up with your lad and Ollie and you at some point. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the season and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Mark. All the best.
I absolutely will, and I just need to tell you that my son was in the away end in that match, and he texted me saying, "Oh, Ollie's been dad now, is he? He's totally happy with the situation. He's up for it."
Brilliant, well done.
Cheers, Mark. All the best.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Mark Griffiths, the Wrexham commentator. Thanks to him. We're going to look ahead to tonight: Everton versus Leeds, our live commentary game. Sam Avery, the Evertonian and comedian, joining us for a chat. Adrian, your host from 7 tonight, with Sam Matterface and Steve Bruce, your commentary team. Interesting to get Steve's take on Manchester United at the moment. We've got Norwich versus Cov in the Championship for you as well over on talkSPORT 2. And Annie Goldstein, Darren Bent will be with you at 4, but we'll catch up with Sam next. We're here with Toolstation. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Toolstation.
So clear through the middle with an early shot. Oh, and it's squeezed through the goalkeeper and in!
With the players who have got out at the moment.
Understand that Jack Grealish faces missing the rest of the season after suffering a suspected stress fracture in his foot.
Coming to a team who's probably in the best form in the Premier League, as good as MD, was quite fearful.
Everton, brilliant performance. This is Aston Villa 0, Everton 1. And it's back in the area. Calvert-Lewin! Brilliant goal!
Yeah, exciting times ahead, but there's no reason not to stay humble. There's achieved really our goal to stay in this league, and for that, nothing is achieved yet. We have to win many more points.
Leeds have it back on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, what a goal! It's game on. Leeds are back. David Moyes and Everton are here.
Okay, right up there. Yeah, Andy's sort of chatting away there to himself. Well, we just found out that Pete Rozelle didn't even have a son. But you need to be listening at the top to know what I'm talking about. Let's deal with the matter in hand.
Marie.
Yeah, let's deal with the matter in hand. Everton versus Leeds this evening. An Everton win would take them up to the heady heights of 7th.
It sort of says quite a lot about the league, that.
You having a pop at Everton?
No, I'm having a pop at the league. Because there's just nothing between these teams apart from the top three and the bottom one, and even the bottom ones are starting.
As Brian Moore once said, it's up for grabs now.
It is.
Let's have a chat now with an Evertonian, see how excited he is. And we've had enough conversations with Sam Avery when they've been having a very bad time. So good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, fellas. Yeah, I'm not on as often as I used to be. I've got to say, feels good. Feels good. As much as I love talking to you two, this is it's not as funny, is it, when we're doing all right?
Misery is much funnier, Sam. I do apologise. Yeah, but no, look, I think it's only right and proper that we get you on a day when you could go up. You could go up to 7th on the cusp of the European.
They've been good away from home, haven't they? At home have stuttered at times, I think. Feels like.
Yeah, totally. That's the case. We've been, away from home. But it's funny because, I think we've probably won more away games this season than we have in the previous, 2 or 3 put together. We've been really, really. I think the way that Moyes sets up the team just works well playing away from home, and we're solid at the back, and I think it's when the onus is on us to kind of go at teams at home. It's just been a little bit disappointing, and we have had a couple of those moments where I know you were talking about we could go the heady heights of 7th, which I'll take all day long at this point after what we've been through the last few years. But we've had a couple of home games where the Newcastle game sticks out, where we could have sort of jumped up a few places and we just got absolutely battered on the night and turn up. So, yeah, I'll be there tonight with me lad, and I'm really just hoping we can. If our home form was anywhere near our away form, would be I know stats kind of misleading. If we'd won all of our games this season, we'd be top, wouldn't we? That's what seems to be the if this, that and the other, then this would be happening. But if our home form could just mirror slightly what we're doing away from home, we'd be in a really competitive place.
So
what's the new stadium, isn't it?
I was going to ask about that because what's the atmosphere like at the new place? How are you finding? Is it taking a while to bed in? Has that had a bearing on those results, you think?
I think the atmosphere's been fantastic. I think it's been, when it's loud, it's really loud. And I suppose when it's quiet, like a lot of grounds around the UK in 2026, when it's quiet, it's very quiet. And you can't believe there's that many people there. Goodison was like that as well. I know Goodison, we all loved Goodison, but Goodison had some incredible nights, incredible days, incredible noise, but also moments where it was pretty quiet because the team have got a sort of the onus on the team to do something that you're excited about, and obviously we're missing Jack Grealish. He was one of the players where he was able to get people up just with, you know, a couple of little drops of the shoulder or winning a foul. That gets the crowd going, doesn't it? Winning a foul on the halfway line.
Dewsbury Hall's a miss. I thought he was doing really well for Everton. Player I liked at Chelsea, and they let him go. It was a good buy by Everton, but he's been out for a few weeks now, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. It was the Chelsea game, wasn't it? Stamford Bridge, where he just pulled up early, and it's one of them. Similar with Jack Grealish, I think, because our squad's bigger than it probably was, you know, 18 months ago. But so many players walked out the door at the start of the season because the contracts ran out. We had to sort of rebuild, and I don't think David Moyes is the kind of manager who likes rotating the squad. You know, he's got his players that he likes, and he's got other players that he'll bring in, but he's not someone who, you know, someone like Jack Grealish and certainly Dewsbury Hall, who has been fantastic. I don't know whether they were playing a lot of minutes on the bodies, and whether they just needed a little rest. But hopefully he's on his way back, because he looks like an absolute bargain for what we paid for him. He's been tremendous, and I think Evertonians are fully behind him.
You expect Dominic Calvert-Lewin to get a good reception tonight?
I'm sure he will, yeah. I'm sure he'll probably score as well, to be honest. He'll probably score. I was just... there's a really funny Twitter account called Goodison Park History, and they had this post up the other day. It was like, name your favourite ever shouts at Goodison from the crowd, and one of them was just, come on, Calvert-Lewin, make 2 names for yourself. I just thought it was brilliant. So, because I think he was a good player for us, and, you know, certainly as we've had fits and starts with the strikers we've got at the moment, I don't think Better's going to be at the club much longer. Barry seems to be finding his feet and doing well, better, I think. Yeah. But in terms of holding the ball up, Calvert-Lewin was absolutely tremendous when he was up for it and fit. He was brilliant. So
best leap in football, I think. Best hand.
Yeah.
He's like Jordan.
It was the fitness. It was understandable that you let him go, because to be honest, it looked like the kind of career that was sort of fizzling out a little bit. Simply not because he wasn't a good player, simply because of the fitness. But it's great. It's great to see him fit and firing, isn't it? Not tonight, from your point of view, obviously. Yeah. I mean, hopefully he stubs his toe or something on the way in, but not serious, but just misses tonight. But I mean, it is because he just seems like a really honest, hard-working player. It was the right time for him to leave. It was the right time for us to let him go, I think. Regardless of whether he scores a hat-trick tonight or not, which I'm sure he won't. Hopefully he won't. It's good to see him doing well. Now, you're just wrapping up your tour. You got one, from what I can see on you, you've got one show left up in Newcastle, is that right?
Up in Newcastle, yeah, on Saturday, which is like a dead early show. They always do this in Newcastle. They have the tour shows at 4 p.m. And the first time I did it, I thought, no one's going to come out at 4 p.m. And I'm telling you now, it doesn't feel like a Saturday afternoon. It feels like Saturday night. It feels like it's booming. And then you come out and everyone's just out in the street. It's brilliant. So
they start early, get in the mood for a bit of comedy, and then go on afterwards.
I wouldn't like to be on at 11 p.m. I'd try to be on at 4. Get me out the way. Get it done.
Fantastic. So tickets available. You can click through from. It's at the Stand. It's Sam's show, Thunderstorm, and if you go to samaverycomedy.com, you can just click through and get tickets for that 4 o'clock show. Well, I hope you and your lad enjoy the game tonight. All the best, Sam. Thanks very much.
Thanks, lads. Speak to you soon.
Take care. This comedian, Sam Avery.
We'll get him on tomorrow if they lose 5-0.
No.
That's
not fair.
Of course not.
Everton Leeds live tonight. Adrian Durham, your host, this evening from 7 o'clock. Building up to that, and I'm sure there'll be some bants flying about in the company of Manchester United's Andy Goldstein, Arsenal's Darren Bent, and the bants will continue, no doubt, when Jamie O'Hara's sitting alongside Jason Cundy. When I'm sure Spurs will be back in the barrel.
Because Andy's not the type to rub it in.
No, not that kind of lad.
No.
So stick around for that. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.